Hello.
Hi.
And welcome back once again to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of fantasy novels written by Robert Jordan and finished by Brandon Sanderson. My name's Gus. I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I have read almost 10 of them.
You've read more than that.
Almost 11 of them.
Well, technically more than that.
I'm on book 11.
Spring. Yeah.
Chapter 20.
Nope.
30?
Yep.
2.
Nope.
1. 30. Right on the dot.
Yep.
I got it. Nailed it.
Although you started renumbering things last time. I remember this. You started tweaking, playing with it.
I thought that was valid, though.
It is valid. But by that metric, you're on 31. So you've read through 30.
Well, yeah, because I always like to think about things as, like, forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Like, I like to think... I think it keeps me doing stuff. I think it's the ADHD in me.
I understand.
I have to think about it in terms of, like, as much progress as I can reasonably say.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm trying to write 5 pages in a day, when I get to page 5, I can be done.
Sure.
No matter where on page 5 I end.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. This podcast...
Because I'm like, counts!
This podcast contains spoilers for everything Allie's already read, which again today is everything up to and including chapter 30 of Knife of Dreams. Al?
Yeah.
Big stuff this week.
Huge. Massive. Colossal.
What stuff?
Enormous. Perrin rescued his wife.
It's
finally
done. We've done it.
Rescued. My wife is over.
We
got her. She's safe. We've done it. But now there's there's this whole new dynamic of like, oh, but I liked Rolan. He beat my ass like a drum, but I liked it in a way I liked. Which
You're talking about the feelings of mixed guilt and shame and the laughing and the jealousy. And
like it.
I know. I don't either. When he pinches Morgaze's butt and she's like, oh, I couldn't possibly be jealous about that.
Oh my God.
But hey, listen, we'll get into all that.
Patty Hearst.
But let's also talk about the fact that we rescued Faile.
Yeah, which I'm happy about.
And that Faile immediately took control of the situation.
I loved it.
Because she's awesome that way.
Well, here's the thing. She's got to.
That's
she's
true.
got to, because otherwise her husband's going to offer Manetheren up again on a platter for no reason.
He might. He's done it before.
He has done it multiple times.
He's done it at least the once. Well, before we get into that, we got a couple of people to thank.
Aww.
First things first, thanks for jumping up to a pint, Tarmo K.
Tarmo K, just like a conscientious slow Loris.
What is a slow Loris?
You
I remember. Wait,
Loris?
it's coming back to me. It's like a type of critter?
It is... Critter could not be a more broad category.
I couldn't remember if it was a reptile. Oh, it's like a little a primate. Adorable.
But it's also venomous.
So cute. Oh, it's venomous?
Yes.
What? How the fuck did... All right, well, sure.
See? It's venomous. It produces venom in their upper arms that, combined with enzymes in their saliva, has extremely painful bites.
Bizarre. But that said...
So just like a slow Loris, you're not afraid to take your time. You know, you're going to do things thoroughly and well. And that kind of attention to detail gets you noticed everywhere you go. In addition, just like the venomous slow Loris, you are sickening in the positive way.
Oh, right.
Come on. It means a positive thing now. Get with the times.
I'm behind. If anybody is detached from contemporary vernacular and pop culture, it's me.
You are sickening. In that you are always dressed to the nines. You can just slay all day. In addition, you are... Apparently, it's flesh-rotting venom.
Oh, God.
But they're so cute. Just don't touch one. Slow Lorises are also apparently solitary. So just like that slow Loris, you are not afraid to really spend time with yourself. You know, get introspective. Really get to know you and how you work and how you tick. And that's important. I mean, we need to spend time with ourselves. You're not afraid to be alone. And there are a lot of people who are, you know, but you have that independence about you. And for that, we thank you, and thank you for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the pint, Arazu K.
Arazu K.
I am sure I'm mispronouncing that. Good lord. Mispronouncing your name. I apologize. It's a cool name. I just haven't seen it before.
Just like a steadfast wombat.
You got a theme today.
I'm doing what I gotta do. I love animals. I love talking about them. I love animal facts. Did you know wombats poop in cubes?
I do now.
Just like that, you are innovative. You're not afraid to do things outside the box. Get it? Kiss cubes?
Yes.
Did you also know that their butt is their main form of defense? This is also animal facts time with Allie. Apparently, they when intruders are near, they dive into their burrows and block off the entrance with their butts. And since their booties mainly consist of cartilage, they are very resistant to scratches and bites. They can also crush predators' skulls with their butts.
That's kind of iconic.
And just like the wombat's iconic ass, you also are iconic. You also aren't afraid to surprise us. They can also run as fast as a human.
Horrifying.
That's super fast.
But makes sense because humans really aren't that fast. On average.
No, we're not fast. We can go for a long time.
Yeah, we're endurance critters.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying critter.
You're saying a critter a lot today. Shout out to Critter, the content creator.
Yeah, she's great.
But so, yeah, just like that, you're quick-witted. You're sharp. You get with the program real fast. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for jumping to a pint, Alyssa H.
Alyssa H. Just like a genteel kangaroo. What?
Good. I like it.
When we ask you for something, you have no trouble hopping to it as quickly as possible. By the way, did you know that kangaroos, this is a fact I know, will drown dogs?
Horrible. Yeah, I'm learning horrible
they
things.
They have such an awful
square poop
relationship with dingoes.
Horrible.
That if they see a dog, it is immediately on sight.
It's a horrible thing.
There are multiple.
I didn't want to know this.
They'll also try to strangle dogs.
I don't want to know any of this.
I've seen a video of a guy rescuing his dog from a kangaroo, and
yes.
It's actually terrible. Super wild.
They're
God. So buff.
My God.
Did you know that a group of kangaroos is called a mob?
I do now.
And just like that, people mob to be around you. You're so popular because you're such a lovely individual. They also use their tails as a fifth leg. And just like that.
To
lean on, I guess, and stuff.
Yeah.
And just like that, you're inventive. You always come up with new ways of doing things where we go, wow, look at that. I would never have thought to do that. That's you. And they sometimes drown their enemies. And just like that, you are drowning in success. And for that, we thank you. And thank you for being part of this community.
Thanks for jumping up to a pint, Robin J.
Robin J. Just like a serene guinea pig. Did you know about guinea pigs? And I did know this. That there are places where it is illegal to have only one of them because they get so lonely that they die.
It was like the opposite of a hamster?
Yeah,
most hamsters can't be with other hamsters.
Guinea pigs, I believe, are monogamous. And I believe, hold on, let me double check that that's true. They can be monogamous or polygamous, but there are places where it is illegal to have only one of them because they really need partnership.
Sure.
Which is so cute. And just like that, you're a loyal person who thrives around people. The people who are your people, right? Know they're loved and cared for. Oh.
She's learning more about
guinea pigs apparently kind of get the zoomies like dogs, but they jump around instead of running. They hop, and they call it popcorning, which is so fucking cute. And just like that, you are adorable. Just freaking adorable and excitable, right? You're not afraid to show joy and that you love something. Okay, another fact, guinea pigs' teeth never stop growing. And just like that, you never stop growing. You never stop reaching for better. You never stop improving yourself. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
And thanks for the pint, Limagrag.
Limagrag, just like a... What is that word?
It's not a compliment.
It is.
Oh, okay, well, I guess it could be.
Yeah.
But that's a noun. That's a noun.
Saying Freudian?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Whatever.
The word is sang-froid.
What?
It's French. Sang-froid.
No way. Okay, well, all right. I'm going to move on to a different word. Because today I'm having a hard time thinking. So I'm relying on the internet for words.
It's a light crash day.
It's a light crash day. Exactly. A vivid alpaca. Some of these facts I have known myself, and some of them are from the internet. Just so you know. Apparently there are no wild alpacas. The alpaca is the domesticated version of the vicuña. And just like that, you're good at the domestic side of life. You know, you understand that like self-care is vital. Making sure your dishes are clean and your environment is nice is, you know, a quintessential part of your day. And it is noticed how, you know, wonderfully fastidious you are. Alpacas are also highly sociable, gentle, and curious, and that describes you to a T as well. When there's danger, alpacas scream. And just like that, you're very alert. You let people know you're one of those people where it's like, when you see something, say something, and you're not afraid to let people know when something's not right. And for that, we thank you, and thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us for Animal Facts with Allie. And thank you to all of our patrons. And we're catching up. We're closing in. I love it. It's great. Okay, more.
Llamas and alpacas can breed, and their babies are called huarizo.
I thought they were the same thing.
They're not.
They're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing. Alpacas very rarely spit, according to this, or bite humans unless they've been abused.
I thought alpaca was the term for the wool from a llama.
No, they're different. Their fleece is different.
See, because I only knew alpaca because the first place I learned the word alpaca was when I was watching The Emperor's New Groove. And for some reason they say alpaca in addition to llama, because that's the movie where David Spade it is David Spade, right, in that movie?
It is David Spade.
It's David Spade, Patrick Warburton. I don't remember who plays Yzma.
So here's the difference between alpaca and a llama.
John Goodman, I think, is Pacha. One of them has hair. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like a fuzzy versus a not fuzzy.
Sure.
Oh, look how fuzzy they are.
It's pretty cute.
Oh my god, now I want an alpaca.
That makes sense.
Yes? I want an alpaca.
I don't think you can have one.
I don't think so either. I think you'd have to have like some kind of permit.
Anyway, you're all great. Allie, this is what I have to know.
Oh, happy Mother's Day,
Happy Mother's Day, if I get this uploaded tonight.
The mothers of all kinds out there.
Of humans, of animals.
And also happy Mother's Day.
Whatever.
To the adults reparenting themselves because their mothers weren't great to them.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. And also big hugs to anyone who has a hard time on this day.
Yes.
For any reason.
Yes. But this is what I want to know. Where did we leave off?
Fuck, I don't know.
It was a big moment. It was another big chap.
It was. Rand lost a hand. Oh my God.
Rand lost a hand. It was a whole fucking thing.
A whole fucking thing.
Whole fucking thing, man. A bad time was had by every single person in that chapter. Nobody had a good time.
Honestly, like nobody had a good time in these chapters either.
Well, there was a
reunion. That was good.
Yeah.
But it was like
but everybody else had a terrible
rescue.
time.
A traumatic rescue.
Yeah, and many people died.
Including Rolan, which I was
we're very
cool
happy
with.
about that.
And I have a bone to pick with Param about Aram.
Oh, we'll talk about Aram. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I am mad, honestly.
have
about that.
been looking forward to rereading this for a very long time because I kind of refrained from rereading this section. I don't know why, but I had a particular way I remembered it, and I was like, surely Perrin does not move on from this as quickly as I think. And that's not to say he doesn't think about it more later. And I understand he's got more important things going on, but
he does.
I remember my first time I read this being a little surprised that Aram just kind of dies. How did you feel about that?
I feel like Perrin failed him fundamentally at every single level.
I agree wholeheartedly.
That Perrin was never failed. Like, Perrin had so many mentors, male mentors, who had experienced violence and having to perpetuate violence when, obviously that's not something anyone really wants to do unless there's something fundamentally wrong with you. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Like, if you would like to commit violence against people, go seek some help for that. But, I think it's one of those things where I think a lot of men stepped up for Perrin to be like, hey, if that axe starts to feel too good, throw it away. That kind of stuff. Where they're here's kind of how being a person that occasionally has to commit violence works. He had a lot of people stepping up for him. And then when the time came to pay that forward, he failed completely to do so.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
He repeatedly thought, and I feel like I highlighted this throughout the series, he looks at Aram and goes, someone's got to do something about this.
And he never
does.
realizes that Aram is his responsibility.
Because, Elias kind of, at the 11th hour, steps in. He's like, you need to do something about this.
And then he still doesn't.
And he doesn't. And I know he's got other stuff going on, but I also kind of feel like...
But he didn't for a while.
No.
After the Battle of the Two Rivers, he did not.
That's true. He had a long time.
Have that much going on. He could have had a come to Jesus conversation with Aram at any goddamn time. Maybe all those times he was fucking around with Tam and the Will Alcine and the boys.
Listen.
Banning his fucking nose. Maybe he could have taken a fucking second away from that. From his weaponized incompetence to actually be competent at one goddamn thing. Other than getting Faile. No, I'm not fucking done. I'm not fucking done. Okay, Faile comes back. This motherfucker has made peace with the goddamn Shan Chan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Left her dad and mom with Rand. Right? Not, who is the most stable person right now to leave her parents with, which I know they've got, their shit together, but still, right? He leaves them unsupervised with Rand. It's like, they'll be fine, hopefully.
Leaves who with Rand?
Davram and Dira.
Oh, sure, yeah.
He just leaves them behind.
He was
whatever.
Okay, well.
YOLO. But so
he doesn't have any control over that. Let's be fair.
But I'm not done. He completely abandons the Two Rivers, tries to sell it to the Shan Chan in exchange for her return after all the fucking hard work she put in. And then the kid that she was trying to help him.
Aram? Faile was?
Yeah, he was very devoted and committed.
He does really look up to her.
Yes. Yeah. And so the kid that she was, it seems like quietly kind of mentoring in some way, he gets killed because Perrin can't be asked to do one goddamn conversation with him. And leaves him completely vulnerable. His entire way of life has been deconstructed for him. He watched his mother die in front of him. Who should be more empathetic to that than goddamn Perrin? Perrin's like, someone else's problem. No, Aram, it's your goddamn problem. You looked his grandparents in the eye and were like, he's got to make his own way. He's got to make his own choices. But I guess that means completely fucking asked by himself. And then... which never happened to you because all these people step the fuck up for you, but you can't be asked to have one goddamn conversation in 6,000 books, right, with this kid, leaving him completely vulnerable to cult leader Massima. He took a kid who's came from like a fundamentalist background, okay? That is what the Tinkers are. They've got like some fundamentalist beliefs.
Well, it is some kind of fundamental because it boils down to essentially here's the central tenet, obey this or get out.
Who has never really understood the world. You thrust a sword and you let him pick up a sword. You had never had a single goddamn conversation with him. You kicked the can down the road completely and tried to like weaponize incompetence, let someone else take care of him. You left him completely goddamn vulnerable to Scientology. What the fuck? Don't have kids. Don't have kids. I don't trust you to have children at this point.
So I was gonna say 6 minutes ago.
If I were Faile, I'd be like, what the fuck did you do while I was gone?
I was gonna say, we're not gonna...
And he was like, nearly freeze my ass in the snow because I was so sad. Oh, that would have helped.
I was gonna say, we're not gonna make the Faile Rescue Chap episode be called The Perrin Slander Hour Part 3.
It should be.
But I don't... Y'all know what you clicked on.
Listen, the plan was a good plan. I will give him that. The plan worked, and it went well. Perrin nearly got himself killed because he couldn't wait 10 minutes. But like, you know, and I get that. Listen, I get that. I will be fair to Perrin. I wouldn't be able to wait either.
No.
I would have walked right into that camp, got myself killed for sure. Right? But, I mean, Massima was obviously trying to kill him. It was obvious.
Sure,
And then his solution is, I'm going to walk completely undefended into Aiel encampments and look for my wife and not pay attention to the fact that Aram has gone to the other side. Because of my incompetence, by the way, Davram Bashir would never. Davram Bashir is rubbing his goddamn temples about this son-in-law of his. Rubbing his temples. Daddy Dav needs to paddle Perrin's ass.
Well, another thing I was going to say, with all due respect to my boy.
No respect.
I said all due. Is it really... Weaponized incompetence has to be intentional.
So he's just incompetent.
I think that he is certainly has, as we have discussed before, shirked a lot of his leadership duties.
Unbelievable.
In this way.
In here, too. Fucking Faile, right, should have a nap and a blankie and a hot toddy. Okay? That's what she should have after being kidnapped. That is what every kidnapping victim should be, like, allowed to have. Like, she should have 5 goddamn minutes to process everything she's been through. Instead, she's got to take over because her husband, right, is a nightmare.
Well, that's not why. She takes over because Perrin is too busy goggle-eyeing at her, which I would do too.
Oh,
and she's like, oh, great. Okay, here's my half of the plan that I've led. Here's my logistics.
No, you would not. You would not goggle at me if I had just been kidnapped.
Okay, that's true.
You would wrap me in a blanket.
That's true.
A hot toddy.
Yes, that's correct.
Right? And not let me do anything for the rest of the goddamn day.
Yeah.
That is what, and I get, okay, at the same time, I get that there is a trauma response of like, I need to like be really productive and and I'm sure that would be an initial instinct of mine, but she needs 5 minutes.
Yeah.
At least to process everything that she just experienced. I mean, she was daily subjected to sexual harassment at best.
Yeah.
Right? There was obvious assault going on with Rolan, right? And dynamics where I'm like, we wonder why we choose the bear.
What was the whole
I mean, this fucking guy was like, I'll see you in the woods. And I was like, I'd rather have the bear. Also, I never read my notes.
We haven't even done the first chapter. The first chapter is the one where they get stuck in the basement.
I think I have notes for that.
You don't have on that one, because that one we did a live reaction for.
Oh, I don't. Okay, but here's the thing. Rolan should go straight to jail. I'm glad he's dead.
He's very dead.
That is something Perrin did right. The plan was good.
He got obliterated.
Other than peace with the Shanchan and Perrin, the brain trust offering up Manetherin for no fucking reason. So that the plan was good, right? I do agree that the plan was good. It went off well. Tam just showed up.
Tam wasn't there, was he?
No, he just showed up. I guess he was like, go get Tam. But I was like, I've been predicting Tam coming back forever. I did not picture it happening.
Showing up, all of a sudden.
And then Tam goes, is my son the dragon reborn? And Perrin's just like, don't worry about it.
Next question.
What the fuck? No, you need to have a conversation. What is it wrong with him? Why can't he have a single real conversation with anybody? All he does is sniff them. Oh my God, dude. I mean, emotional intelligence. This is why STEAM is important. We need to have kids learning emotional intelligence.
Oh, science, technology. What is it? What are you talking? What's STEAM?
STEAM is like STEM, but with art.
Science, technology. What is STE? I forget what it is.
Science, technology, engineering mathematics.
And arts, yeah. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
But we need steam because we have these fucking guys who, you know what? Perrin accomplishes shit a lot sometimes. I mean, I kind of feel like Bianca Del Rio when I talk about Perrin, where I'm like, name one thing you do successfully, quickly.
I just think it's really interesting. I'm looking on Encyclopedia Watt. Perrin's... Oh, that's Tam. Never mind. Continue.
But yeah, how's that Bianca Del Rio quote for Perrin?
Very good.
Right? That's kind of how I feel right now. Is I'm like, name one thing you do, and then you know what? She'll come out here, right? As happened with the person that Bianca was talking to, and maybe that's that person. I think it was Nina Bonina Brown came out and then did that Beyonce impersonation for All Stars. Do you remember this?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay, well, you're wrong because I think about it maybe once a day.
Okay,
but so maybe Perrin will have a Beyonce impersonation moment.
You talking about Drag Race?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
My current hyperfixation.
That
Again.
and House of the Dragon. You're currently dual hyperfixating.
And crochet.
It's funny. And crochet. Triple hyper. It's funny because a week and a half ago, and we'll get back to the books.
No.
A week and a half ago, you were adamant that I start playing Baldur's Gate again. Because we took a little time off of video games just because other things.
Life.
Yeah. And you're well ahead of me in Baldur's Gate. And you were very, very enthusiastic that I start playing Baldur's Gate again. And then just the other day...
we can talk about all the stuff.
We had the free time and I sat down and I started playing Baldur's Gate again. And after about a day of this, you said, okay, can we watch House of the Dragon? Because you had shifted. And I think this is really cool. I think it's really cool. This is how this works. You watched one TikTok about House of the Dragon and the hyperfixation immediately flipped. Baldur's Gate fell off. It's still there.
It's still there.
But
I was
lower.
like, I need to watch House of the Dragon biblically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's this thing of like, it's a compulsion, right? It's like you can't necessarily control it. Like sometimes it's really great because it'll be like work. Though also that can be bad because then you realize that
then you work for
entire
15 hours straight and you don't eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why
Which makes me feel very powerful, but also is not good for me.
At noon, reminding you to eat.
Well, and that's why neurodivergent people get into a lot of trouble because they'll do the hyperfixation thing, right? And they think that's how like work should be, right? Like,
that's not necessarily how work should be. Not a
sustainable model, actually.
No, you can't do that every day.
I mean, you can do it sometimes if you're a neurodivergent person, but like
not every day.
People think, but like a lot of neurodivergent people are like, oh, that's what 100% is for neurotypical people. And it's like, no, actually that is
not usually, no.
At least 300%.
Yeah. Now we got to get back to the book.
Okay, now back to the book.
I know you don't want to talk about Perrin.
No, I do. I do. I have a lot of words about this because here's the thing.
Wait, should we do the Faile gets trapped by Galena?
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. Okay, first of all, most obvious. Okay. Let's start at the real fucking shit though. Okay, what was Galena's goddamn plan? This was the dumbest plan. Disrespectfully, this was the dumbest plan I've ever fucking heard in my life. I cannot believe she's the sitter for the Red Aja. She is so goddamn stupid. Like, what is the plan? What is the plan? Out herself as the most obvious Black Aja in the world to two people closest to the Dragon Reborn? For what? To kill Faile? For why? What is the point of killing her?
It's inconvenient to Perrin and Rand, and then they wouldn't be able to tell other people that she lied. I guess
they'll just figure out that she lied to them.
I do think it's kind of unnecessary.
It is. It's completely unnecessary. It's like it's so convoluted. Right? It's so convoluted. She's a dumbass.
It does feel a little bit evil for evil's sake.
Yes, it is. She's such a dumbass. Like, just go along with it, get rescued, live to slay another day. Sometimes you work with your enemy because it's convenient for you. Like, they're doing exactly what you want them to do, which is fuck up the Shaido.
Yeah.
Why out yourself unnecessarily as an evil person? He's just going to figure out you lied to them. And then he's like, okay, Brand, fuck up Galena Kazban or whatever her name is.
I guess
Rock the Kazban.
If she'd successfully killed them, they wouldn't have been able to say anything negative about her, but also they wouldn't really
Why would they? She helped them escape.
Yeah.
They went through the shit together. It's honestly the best cover.
It is a pretty good cover.
If you
like when
look
you're-
like a good person, it's a really good fucking
When you're
cover.
playing a
That's
social-
why I act like I'm a good person.
When you're playing a social deduction game like, Mafia or The Resistance or what have you, what is the other version of that? There's a million of them. Werewolf. It's often, best practice to just, if you're the bad guy, don't play that way for a round or two. At all.
My strategy is when I'm the bad guy, shut the fuck up and let everybody
don't
yell
say
at each
anything,
other.
All right, so chapter 28.
But talk just enough. Because if you're too quiet, then everybody starts noticing that you've been really quiet.
That's true.
Right? You got to talk just enough to you got to support other people.
Yes.
But see, this is the thing. Support other people and their plans.
28 in Malden, that's the logo. What's that?
I don't even fucking know. Is that a blacksmith's
That is
puzzle?
a blacksmith's puzzle.
Sure.
I looked at this thing for 2 whole books going, what the fuck is this?
I was like, is that a sex toy?
It's
I legitimately was like, what is that?
It is a blacksmith's puzzle.
I thought it was some kind of S&M.
Well,
Doesn't
Robert,
it look like
looks
something
kind
like
of
that?
like it would be, yeah. No, it's a blacksmith's puzzle.
I mean, sure.
It's Faile
I've never seen one, so I believe you, as I am not a blacksmith.
There's this Kyrianan guy shine, what's her name? Diraine, who is about to turn them in and then...
Oh, right. And then they tie her up.
Yeah,
and
they tie her
They talk about killing her. And I'm like, unnecessary.
Alejandra goes, we can kill her and hide the body.
Alejandra is just ready to murder. Just ready immediately to kill. And all of them are like, that seems extreme. And it does. It does seem a little much considering that she's tied up. I mean, it's not exactly self-defense. Granted, I do like that we're getting into sometimes good people. There's a line.
It's the gray. It's the classic gray
on the line, right? Alejandra, Arganda. Clearly, Alejandra can take care of herself because she's fucking brutal. Right away, she's like, "Let's kill her. Let's just slit this gal's throat and be done." And everyone's like, "Whoa, that was fast." You came up with that idea so fast. Uncomfortably fast,
They have Bane and Chiad take care of Diraine. They put her in a bag and stuff. Alejandra can't stop grinning.
Putting her in a bag seems dangerous. She could suffocate in there.
Not like a plastic bag. It's like a cloth bag.
Well, I just hope they put her face up.
I'm sure she's fine.
Okay.
I'm sure she's fine.
Just because I've read about too many accidents.
Yeah. Alejandra can't stop grinning, and Faile's like, "Fucking stop! You're a captive. Stop smiling." And she's like, "I can't. I'm too excited about getting out."
I'm not a good actress. And I am a queen. I did not go to acting school.
And that's when you were like, "Well, now you fucked it. Now you've beefed it. You beefed it good."
She was all excited. Well, no, she was grinning because she was like, "I almost got to murder somebody." I'm such a badass. I bet that was in her head. She was like, I'm such a badass though. I offered up murdering her like it was nothing.
So this chapter is exciting, and it's a lot of lead up. And do you have anything you really want to get into on this one? She's excited to be getting out.
Galena was obviously evil.
Yeah.
So them falling into that trap was kind of dumb. However, I get also being like, I'm so desperate to get out of here. I'm going to miss all of the obvious signs that someone's a fuckhead. I would not have gone into the basement.
Yeah, so the
basement was a dumb thing. And then let her go up there by herself. That was dumb.
They go out to the outskirts of town. They go to the collapsing murder cabin.
Yeah, the most obvious collapsing murder cabin.
And what is it?
Honestly, they're lucky that she just dropped a house on them.
There, Magden said, pointing east along the street. A long length of red cloth fluttered in the breeze where she pointed. It was tied to a house that seemed ready to fall in.
Chekhov's cloth.
Walking to it slowly, they rested their baskets on the paving stones. The red cloth fluttered again. Why would she want to meet us here? Alejandra muttered. That could cave in if anybody sneezed. And Galena comes up.
So let's go in the basement.
Galena comes up and goes, "It is quite sound. I inspected it."
Sometimes I'm like, Robert Jordan, to me, is clearly a man. Because I just don't know a single woman on the planet that would recreationally go into a basement.
Sure, yeah.
It's a place women die. It's just not a good idea. I want to be in as public a place as possible.
Yeah.
I know we have to go somewhere no one will ever go, but do we have to go in the basement? Why not the ground floor? And why don't we all leave together now that you've got that beautiful little oath rod?
Faile goes, why not in one of the sound buildings? Or right here? Because I don't want anyone to see it in my hands. Because no one will look inside that ruin because I say so.
Hand it to you in a scarf. I'm not going in. Women, I want your input. Those that identify as women. Would you go in a basement with someone sinister? Would you? I disagree. I disagree with this decision making. And I think the men characters I could believe. Because here's why. Not because men are stupid.
No, you're right.
Not because men are stupid. No, I think you are conditioned to not feel fear in the same way.
Well, men more often, I think, could be like, I could take him.
Yeah. Especially white boys. Like, you all go
That's
wherever.
True,
you wouldn't investigate
we
any sound.
We do that.
Like, you have no fucking fear. No fear. Like, you're just conditioned. Other than you have generalized anxiety. But, like, on the average, I feel like no fear. What's that like? But I just don't know a single woman that'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go in a basement with someone who's practically a stranger. Like, that's where they keep the knives.
So they go into the kill basement, and they give her the rod. Faile whips it out, and she hands it over. I don't know why I say that every time an oath rod comes into play.
It's appropriate, because it kind of looks like a dick.
It does. And she's like, yo, hold on a second. I think I heard some shit. Don't move. I'll be right back. And she goes upstairs, and the whole fucking building falls down.
Who could have predicted this? Who could have predicted this? Oh, I don't know. I guess they predicted it themselves. They were like, a sneeze could put that building down. I love them. I do. I love all of these characters and all of these people. But what a dumbass decision. I don't mean to blame the victim, but I'm blaming the victim.
Aleandra's
Use your damn head. You cannot be this stupid after being kidnapped. I'm sorry. You cannot be this stupid after being kidnapped.
Aleandra's like, oh shit. Hey, Galena, can you help us out? And Galena's fucking gone.
Galena did it. And my God.
They try to dig their way out.
I'm like, get wise. Oh my God.
And as they try to dig their way out.
These are smart women. Please.
She hears howling wolves.
Oh, there we go.
So you know what that means.
So we know Perrin's on his way.
And then the whole fucking basement falls down again at them.
I'm just like, not one time did the women save themselves in this situation.
No.
It's okay. I don't need the women to save themselves every time, right? I know it is realistic. And Faile has saved Perrin, so turnabout is fair play. And I do appreciate that she has saved him before. But these women, we need to get smarter than this. We can either be smarter than drinking tea from strangers, and we need to be smarter about going into murder basements. A basement of all things.
Especially if the building is about to fall down.
In a crumbling house.
Burnt
in a
up
dilapidated, on its last legs house.
Well, here's the thing.
I think
it's important to mention and remember. They're assuming that Galena's not Black Aja. And that when she says things like the building is secure, that she's telling the truth. We should never be assuming
that. She seems like the shadiest motherfucker on the planet. When we know the Black Aja exists, except for maybe Perrin. He may be needing a few more books for that. But we know the Black Aja exists.
Actually, as Perrin was charging, he was like, why are they putting those cloths over their faces? And Aram had to stop down and go like, well, there's this thing, man, called veiling. I'm kidding.
You're telling me that the Aiel veil themselves, and that's why they're called the Black Veiled Aiel?
So,
this is not smart. We parent ourselves.
How do we get out of this one?
Luckily, Morgaze knows how to channel a little.
A teeny bit.
I know that you have been sneaking this one by me for a while because Gus was very proud of the fact that he's been sneaking by the scarf thing. Like, she has enough powers to wave a flag around, right?
Yes.
Good one.
Thank you.
That's pretty good. That's very good.
I've said that a few times.
I'm proud of you. Way to go, champ. But so I mean it. I sound sarcastic, but it's just because I'm tired. So Morgheus whips this little flag back and forth like Willow Smith with the hair.
Here's the thing. We've been dragging a lot of the events in this chapter. I love this part.
I love
all 3 chapters. So to be clear, we're dragging the characters.
Yeah, we're dragging the characters for making stupid decisions. We're not dragging the chapter.
Yeah.
People make stupid decisions all the time. I have certainly been in situations where I'm like, this was really fucking stupid. This was really fucking stupid. Yeah. I've done it many a time. Oh, God, I'm amazed I survived to be 30 and some change. So, yeah, I am just saying maybe we don't go in basements in the future, especially in houses that are crumbling. But so, yeah, I love the support, the women supporting her, though.
Yeah. Faile could see the red scarf Galena had used to mark the building. It fluttered for a moment in the breeze. Staring at the scarf, she seized Megdin's shoulder. I want you to try to make that scarf do something the wind wouldn't make it do. You want to attract attention? Eliandra said hoarsely. It's far more likely to be Shaido than anyone else. Better that than dying down here of thirst, Faile replied, her voice harsher than she wanted. She would never see Perrin again then. If Savannah had her chains, she would at least be alive for him to rescue. He would rescue her, she knew it. Her duty now was to keep the women who followed her alive, and if that meant captivity, so be it. Megdin, I might spend all day trying to embrace the source and never succeed, the sun-haired woman said in dull tones. And if I do embrace it, I can almost never weave anything. Faile loosened her grip on Megdin and smoothed her hair instead.
You got this.
I know it's difficult, she said soothingly. Well, in truth, I don't know. I've never done it. But you have, and you can do it again. Our lives depend on you, Megdin. I know the strength that's in you. I've seen it time and again. There is no surrender in you. I know you can do it. And so do you.
You have an almost regal nature.
Downright, having been around a lot of royalty and knowing the history of the monarchs in a general way.
Huh. And you're hot and
you're
have
blonde,
reddish
red,
hair.
And you have an Andorran accent. Slowly, Migdin's back straightened and
it's clear you've never been a maid in your life.
Slid off her face. She might still see the abyss, but if she fell, she would fall without flinching.
Yeah, girl.
I'll try, she said.
Fuck yeah.
For a long while, she stared up at the scarf, then shook her head dejectedly. The source is there, like the sun just beyond the edge of sight, she whispered. But every time I try to embrace it, it's like trying to catch smoke with my fingers. Faile hastily pulled the Gaishain robes from her basket, another careless of the gold belts and collars falling to the stone floor.
It's kind of like trying to catch Sirius Black. It's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands.
It feels stretched. Sort of
butter. Hashtag translates matter.
The tighter you... That's Lord of the Rings. Oh, you said it. Yeah, okay. The tighter you tighten your grasp, the more star systems will slip through your finger. We're going to just keep
McQueen. Send the raven.
Send the raven.
It was your job. It was your only
I like
job.
the way he says Tarly. I'm not doing it the way he actually says it. I've made it more guttural and fucking weird every time I do it. Because I'm sure he goes like, Tarly. But when I do it like, Tarly.
No, the thing about me
We're just
and
jumping
Gus
franchises
and
now.
our family is that we will take something someone says on any piece of media and we will exaggerate it.
Completely fuck it up.
Like my dad hooked into, I guess in some James Bond movie or something like that, some villain, like his girlfriend leaves him for James Bond or whatever, and he goes, and this is my dad's interpretation of how this went.
Is your impression of your father doing an impression of a British actor.
Irish, I think.
Irish, okay.
Yeah. He goes, girls are like monkeys.
This is not Ali doing Irish. Offensive. Let's be clear.
You have to have a firm grasp on the next branch before you can let go of the last. And then, so he'll say that. And he will say this to us all the time. And apparently years and years later, he and my stepmom sat down and that movie just happened to be on. So they watched it and we get to the iconic line and my stepmom's all excited to hear it said. And he just goes like, gals are like monkeys. You have to have a firm grasp on the next branch before you can let go of the last. Like it was very nonchalant. And my stepmom was like, that's the line that has become this like bigger than life stupidity.
That's how it goes. back to the other thing we were talking about. For a long while... Oh, we did that already. Sit down, Faile said. Make yourself comfortable. I know you can do it, Megden. You can do it. Aleandra... Why is she British? She's not British. Aleandra said softly, sitting down on Megden's other side. And everyone's like, yeah, you got it, you got it. And they're all like sitting there cheering on her. And it's awesome. And I like this part.
I like this part.
Time passed, with Megden staring at the scarf. Faile whispered encouragement and held on to hope hard. Suddenly the scarf went rigid, as if something had pulled it taut. A wondrous smile appeared on Megden's face as the scarf began to swing back and forth like a pendulum. 6, 7, 8 times it swung. Then it fluttered in the breeze and fell limp. That was marvelous, Faile said. Marvelous, Aleandra said. You're going to save us, Megden. There were many kinds of battle. Sitting on the floor,
It's
whispering
true.
encouragement, Megden fighting to find what she could seldom find. They fought for their lives while the scarf swung, then fell to the breeze. Swung, and fell limp, but they fought on. And then
there
we
are
get...
times, I feel like what's good about this is like, they're like, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. Like, there's never like any like try or whatever. It's like, the encouragement is just like, you've got this.
Mhm.
And sometimes that is what you need. It's not like oh, if you can, it's like, no, sometimes you have to kind of be like, no, this is what is going to happen in your brain. And then it kind of does.
Yeah.
That was so deep.
You know what?
Wow,
You
well
fucking
said.
crushed it.
Do you know what I mean, though? You know
Yes.
what I'm trying to say?
Up top. That's your forehead. That's not a hand. What are you doing? That's not gonna work. And then we switched to Galena, and she's like, nah, I did it. Nah, I'm free. But we all know she's actually not. And we'll talk about that when we get there.
We will.
And that's the end of...
But I just, for the basement girlies, like, we can't be doing this. We can't be doing this. We can't be following people into basements during the apocalypse.
The
like,
end.
That's just not it. That's not a smart plan.
of Chapter 28. Chapter 29, Allie.
Yep.
The Last Knot. That's the logo.
Ooh.
What is it?
It's a wolf.
It's dog. You do have notes for this one.
Wait. So in Faile's chapter, she gets the blacksmith puzzle. She doesn't even get her own, like, falcon or something.
No.
Wow.
I think there's a Falcon
It all
logo.
just
There is there
Back to her husband.
there is a Falcon logo. We've seen it before.
I know,
Yeah.
but it, like in this, her chapter, I'm just kidding.
I know. Here you go. Chapter 20. Here's your notes. I took them on my
Robert
phone.
Jordan
because you-
hyperfixated on blacksmith puzzles. We understand.
What were you doing? You were crocheting.
No. I was finishing up. So
You were sewing onto it. Yeah.
I made a
wall hanging.
A wall hanging for my friend's nursery.
Yeah, it's very cute.
And I did crochet it, but I
put
had
tassels
to
on it.
Put tassels on it. Yeah, I was learning how to make tassels, and surprisingly easy to do. But I was in a hyperfixation mode where I was like, I need to get this done because the baby shower is next week, and so I needed to get it done. And you were like, but we also need you to read the chapters. And I was like, what if we play the chapters while I do this? And we do it old school, like old school wheel takes where I don't read.
But instead listen. Passive content consumption.
Yeah. And you were like, all right. So that's what we did. And it was very sweet. But then you had to take notes for me because my hands were busy. Chapter 29, Rolan Death Chap.
It's not, but we're close.
Something's invitingly wide, huh?
Yes.
Don't let them do anything stupid. Somebody says, don't
Perrin,
let them do anything
this
stupid.
is you paraphrasing Perrin.
And I'm like, don't let them do anything stupid like I just did.
Yeah.
Massima Death Chap. That seems like more than I can hope for, right? If I do Rolan and Massima.
That would be...
Oh, good. Argonda is here.
I love how much you hate this
I
dude.
fucking hate him. I just think he's just a fucking asshole.
What if he's got a crush on his queen?
We already have that
That's
beat.
true. We do have that plot. And
No.
we hate him more, actually.
We have this guy who's like, my life is the job. And I'm like, ugh, God.
Rise and grind. That's our Gandhi's motto.
He definitely, he's that guy. He's that guy on TikTok that posts his like lifestyle tips. And he's like, I wake up at 4 a.m. and then like blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, good for fucking you. Good for fucking you. You know what I like? Nighttime. I like my nighttime time. I don't want to see the sunrise
Arganda
ever.
says 6 a.m. I've already been to the gym. I've had 30 minutes to collect myself
and he's like,
for the day.
And he's like, my day hasn't even started yet.
That's what I was getting at.
Oh, God. I fucking hate when people say that shit. What? They're like, I meditate and then I drink matcha while I look at the sun. I'm like, fuck you.
If that works for you, by the way, that's great.
No, go fuck yourself. I'm just kidding. I just hate when people are like, look how virtuous I am for waking up at a different hour than you.
Well, I will say
fuck yourself.
What I do think is really funny is the day hasn't even started yet. I'm like, if you got up at 4 and you're saying such and such thing at 9 a.m., the day hasn't started yet. I assume if you get up at 4, you're going to bed at like 7 or 8. So really, the day has very much started.
Your day has started. You're not better than me. Okay, and then he also does this thing, okay, where...
Are we talking about Arganda?
No, I saw this one guy and it just pissed me off.
Yeah, okay.
He was sitting there, when you just hate watch something, you're just like, I fucking hate everything you are. Like, you know, stop. You're like, I hate you.
You shouldn't do that. It's not a good thing to do.
I hate you so much. Because I don't care. Listen, I don't care. If you wake up at 4 a.m., I don't care. I'm like, good for you. Great. Amazing. But it's that smidge of judgmental, I'm better than you crap.
Yeah.
That's the thing that just makes me go absolutely go fuck yourself, you absolute twat waffle. So then I just...
Yeah,
that's not a word I say often.
I know.
But it just bothers me because I've worked with people. I am related to people who love to be like, just... You don't understand the amazingness of waking up this early, how good of a person I am because I happen to wake up at 5. Go goddamn fuck. You haven't lived until you've drunk your coffee and watched the sunrise. First of all, health guru motherfucker, caffeine's not fucking good for you either.
Coffee, coffee might be. Coffee, they go back and forth. Every time a new study comes out, they're like, coffee's good for you, coffee kills you,
right,
coffee's good for you, coffee kills you, coffee's good for you.
But, too much caffeine's not good for you either.
That's true.
You're not better than me.
Can I remind you, there was a summer where you would get up every day at 6 a.m. and you know what you would say?
I did that for a week and a half.
You would go, oh my God, I love this. This is great. This is so, I feel like I get to greet
I was
you.
lying.
You went all in on this shit. You were all about it.
Because I felt like I was better than everyone.
Hypocrisy, thy name is Allie.
Listen, I could only do it for so long and then I broke and I couldn't get it back. Because you know what? It sucks. Waking up that early sucks. Oh, I never feel awake. I tried to run before work.
Oh, I can't do that. I tried to do that for a while.
God.
Awful.
God, it's horrible. Oh.
Now, if it works for you, that's great.
It's horrible. How does it work for you? Do you have different... Are you an alien creature?
Did you have notes?
I don't even know what I was talking about.
You were ranting about Arganda. Arganda's the kind of guy who would wake up and say, time to get this bread for the shareholders. But the shareholders are my queen.
Arganda cares so much about the shareholders.
Yes.
God, he loves the shareholders.
Arganda wants to increase shareholder value.
Oh, he sucks with shareholders.
And by shareholder value, I mean the queen's lack of captivity. Now, here's the thing. We're roasting a man who wants to rescue his monarch from captivity. I understand that. But I kind of find him annoying.
Kind of. He thinks he cares more about his boss than Perrin cares about his wife. He's annoying as shit.
I love this guy.
If I were Perrin, I would have punted him off a cliff.
Yeah, sure.
I've been like, rise and grind your bones, motherfucker.
Well, Perrin was too busy sitting in the snow, getting hypothermia, 'cause he was sad.
God.
A classic all-star moment in the Wheel of Time.
He's that guy that goes to grocery stores and his content is like, canola oil, poison. And he's just reading the ingredients and he doesn't actually know anything about nutrition. He's just saying shit to sound like he's fucking healthy because he thinks that talking like this makes him better than other people. And he's like, all I do is coffee enemas. I don't even eat. I don't need to because the enemas, they sustain me.
I do a
go
2-hour
fuck yourself.
photosynthesis practice.
And you're like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? It's not even words. Oh my God. And they just say advice that's so bad for you. They're like, get rid of all carbohydrates. And you're like, motherfucker, you will die. You need carbohydrates to live. Yeah, and no wonder they're fucking assholes because they have no brain left. God, their brain is eating itself out of desperation. Oh God, I just hate those people. Anyway, sorry, I don't hate people except for those people. I'm reading this book called Radical Acceptance, and it was like, and it was so nice last night. I was reading it, and it was all like, yeah, you know, like we're all a part of the same everything. And so like part of radical acceptance and reaching, you know, that next level of enlightenment and stuff is, you know, understanding that like we're all like humans with inner lives and value and la da 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 da. And I was like, yes, you're so right. Yes. And then she goes, and I struggle with that thinking about CEOs. And I was like, that's so real of you. That's so real of you. And I was like, this is my struggle. Like I accept and like love that so much. And then I think about people like
Gerard
that.
Arganda,
like,
specifically Gerard Arganda.
Yeah, because I'm like, yes, absolutely. Like it's like realizing that we all are struggling. We're all doing this. We're all like yearning for acceptance and love and da. And she was like, and that is so easy for me to do until I think about CEOs. And I was like, that is so real of you to say. That, you know what? Because like in last night when I was in that mood and I wasn't thinking about people who say rise and grind for the shareholders, I wasn't thinking about that. And last night I was like, yes, absolutely. It's so easy for us. Why can't we all just recognize that we're all like, you know, we're all struggling. We're all trying our best. And then I thought about it today and I was like, nope, I do have that uncharitable side of me though. I do. I do. I'm working on it. I am working on it. Maybe rise and grind friend, you know, just wants to be loved just like I do. But fuck, he makes it hard to love him. Anyway, so good. Arganda is here. A man who's hard to love for me.
If you put, I've said this almost verbatim before, if you put 15 Wheel of Time fans in a room and ask them who is Gerard Arganda, 13 of them would say, what?
It is so personal for me how much I hate this dude. I think it's that thing of like the cardinal sin in literature is actually being annoying.
Okay, well now here's the thing. Now, if I were ever to be on the Wheel of Time show, I would want to play Gerard Arganda now. Just for this bit.
Rafe Jenkins. You have the opportunity here to do maybe one of the funniest things.
No. The funniest thing would be me playing Talonvor and Talonvor dying immediately after his appearance.
God, I hate that.
That would be the funniest thing. Like cameo.
Rafe has an opportunity here to do something really funny.
That would be so fucking funny.
I'm just saying, listen. I'm not somebody who's like, Rafe, like, no. But it would be funny. Okay. And, you know, if we want to be funny about it, because I don't know if I'd allow you back in the house.
If I played Arganda?
Like, legitimately, that would be a hard pill to swallow for me.
Well, but you know what I'd be talking about?
It would be the end of Wheel Takes,
when
when
I was talking about quote-unquote Alejandra, I'd just be thinking about you.
Oh,
now you like it. Now it's sweet. Oh, it's different now.
Well, because I wouldn't be your boss.
You recontextualized it. Look at you. Radical acceptance. You've changed the game.
All right. Let me put it this way. Listen, and I've liked bosses of mine. I just don't assume that I like my boss more than someone likes their wife.
Sure.
That's the difference.
Sure.
Like, I've had plenty of great bosses, right? Where I'm like, yeah, I would like care if something happened to you and try to stop something from happening to you. Definitely. But imagine like, okay, I want you to envision for me, like a boss that you've had that you like a lot. Now I want you to envision like two people that are married who have a great relationship where you're like, that's like a marriage I would model our marriage after.
Sure.
Now I want you to imagine telling the man, all right, I know your wife is captured, but my boss, though, is more important here and should be more important to you. Ridiculous. You'd be an asshole.
So do you have other notes?
All right.
As much fun as the Arganda Slander Hour Part 2 is.
I want to kick this man into the sun.
Okay,
I
so
feel like
title options right now. The Perrin Slander Hour Part 3. The Perrin and Arganda Slander Hour.
The morning person Slander Hour.
Rise and grind for the shareholders.
Oh, it's got to be that.
It might have to be rise and grind for the shareholders.
I feel like
people are going to open the pocket cast catch. What the fuck is this?
See, that's my favorite though. Is when they're like,
that is what I go for with
context?
The chapter titles. I go for like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I feel like Massima has some kind of plan about Perrin, and I don't like it.
He did. It was send Aram to kill him
because it was visible from a mile away. A mile away.
Don't forget,
you let this kid get roped into Scientology. What do they say? You want to get clear? That's what they said to Aram.
Don't forget, Massima made it out at the end of the day.
Aram was like, I got clear. And Perrin was like, I've never had clarity in my life. Jesus Christ. Okay, honestly, why would she do that? That's so dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Why would she
Galena.
It was so dumb. What was the reason? What was the plan? There was no plan, you bonehead. All right. God. I'm trying to think, like, Galena's that person that overcomplicates everything in a way that's just dumber and less efficient. You know, you always had that person on the group project where they were just going off into the stratus. And you were like, we're making a PowerPoint. Make the damn PowerPoint. All right. Oh, great. It's Rolan.
The Perrin
the chapter keeps getting better.
The Perrin, Galena, and Arganda Slander Hour.
I believe I said about
the
this
everyone but Faile Slander Hour.
Faile's doing great.
Faile's
Other than
doing
the fact
great.
that she went into a basement, Faile's doing great.
Yeah.
Never go in a basement unless you really know what's in that basement. Like, I'm trying to think, like, you'd have to be so close to me to be like, maybe I have trust issues. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Many do.
But I'm like,
I actually think you're
trying
very
to
trusting.
think,
anyway.
But not like,
regardless.
But, you know, I think there's a limit to my trust because I'm trying to think how close you would have to be for me to hear, let's go down into this basement, and me go and not have a little of like you go first.
Sure.
And I'll stand by the stairs.
Sure.
Just in case this is your kill room. I've watched Dexter.
I haven't. I hear it's good.
You know, the first couple seasons are really, really good. Like, I only say that because I did eventually stop watching because there was a scene that was so brutal I had a hard time continuing.
I also haven't watched Lost.
Dexter's the reason why I don't like those family stickers on the back of cars.
Right, yeah.
No shade toward anybody who has them. But, like, there was a serial killer that, like, saw the stickers on the back of cars, and that's how he knew who to stalk. Because he was like, they have children.
You watched Lost, right?
I did, yeah. I watched all the way through.
I watched 3 episodes, and I'm sure it's good. I've heard it's good. But a polar bear showed up, and I went, no. And I turned it off. I don't know why that's what did it for me. For some reason, a polar bear showing up.
It took you out of it?
I went, nope, and I turned it off.
You know?
I hear that it's a hell of a ride.
Here's the thing. It is a hell of a ride. I think it was a ride ultimately worth going on. I have a whole Lost story, but I feel like we can't get into that right now.
We are at least an hour in.
We can't get into it right now. One day I'll tell the Lost story about how I think that the Lost writers may have stolen the idea for the end of the show from my eighth grade class.
Yeah.
But that is a story for another time. No, I'm sure that's not what happened.
No.
I'm sure that, but also there's a part of me that's like, but what if that is what happened? Because there's a part of me that is suspicious about it. But so there's that. What were we talking about?
Lost. Before that, we were talking about Dexter. We were talking about basements. Don't go into the basement.
Oh, and I only said that about Dexter. I feel like I sounded shady, and it was not. I actually did enjoy the show. I just stopped watching after a while because I was like, this is a lot for me as a like young person. I was really young when I was watching it, and I was like, I should probably not be watching this. And then I never picked it up again.
Sure.
But the reason why I knew about Dexter and started watching Dexter is because it was presented as a dilemma to debate in my high school religion class.
Oh. Like, is it ethical to kill serial killers? Yeah, he kills serial killers.
Is it ethical to be a serial killer who kills serial killers?
That's an interesting debate.
Is that an ultimately ethical thing to do? And I thought that was a really interesting debate. We had an interesting debate.
Yeah. Cool.
Is that ethical?
You have 2 notes left
Why?
for this chapter.
Yeah, it was my ethics. It was a religion ethics course.
That's a cool idea for a class.
Yeah, it was. For a Catholic school, it was
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah, yeah.
It was pretty legit. Why would he want to kill Faile? Why would who want to kill Faile?
Maybe I don't really remember. There's
Maybe it was she.
No, it was a he. I remember there being like, if he decides to kill the lady, and I think it might have been Barrelane. I think it was like Galeen being like, hey, because he was worried about Barrelane.
But like, why? Why would Massima do anything to Barrelane? What's the problem?
Galeen is, for some reason, the good place Arganda, because they both care equally much about the same thing in a lot of ways. And Perrin kind of finds both of them a little annoying.
Yes, because they are a little annoying.
Sure.
I guess, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but still, like, perspective. What? Why is Tam here?
Oh, yeah, Tam's here.
Tam is just here.
He's here now.
And then Perrin does not elucidate at all.
He does not.
What's going on with Tam's child.
He does not.
Which he deserves to know that information, and he deserves to hear it from Perrin.
Well, he gives him an answer by not saying anything.
That is not acceptable to me. That is not acceptable. That is just the continued weaponized incompetence of Perrin. Because if anyone deserves to have, be comforted, okay, yeah, Rand is the Dragon Reborn. He's doing okay, though. Last time I saw him. Anything.
I do think it's funny that Perrin has a vision of Rand without a hand. He goes, oh, shit. Well, I guess he'll deal with that.
What is Perrin's deal?
We're going to take a really quick ad break because timing has been weird this episode. Welcome back. What were you saying?
What is Perrin's deal? It's kind of disturbing. The lack of emotional intelligence that he has, considering he can smell people's feelings. It's like having the answers to the test and still failing. Am I wrong?
No, not really. No.
I mean, my God.
Chapter 29, The Last Knot. Perrin stood just below the ridge top near the edge of the fog and studied the encampment and stone-walled town below. So, there's fog. It's magic fog. We got some magic fucking fog. Grady crushed it. Kneeled, crushed it. I get them confused sometimes. Kneeled, crushed it. He
so creating
fucking nailed
fog
it.
Before a battle is there's a precedent for that, because that happens in the show as well. But the White Cloaks do it
the
with
White
children.
Cloaks do it with incense and censers, don't they?
Yeah, with children.
I forgot about that. Yeah, in season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was...
I feel like this may have happened other times
I feel like
in the book.
Obscuring your approach is
smart.
always a good idea.
Yeah. The Shaido are out there. Perrin's like, I want to get my wife. I can get my wife. Get my wife. And, yeah. He's got plans on plans on plans on plans. Everybody else is hanging out.
And then he completely disregards his plans
ready.
and nearly gets himself killed.
Well, I don't know. Probably.
Probably. That's
Daniel
what
shows
he did.
up. Daniel made a leg when he saw Perrin and murmured, "My lord?"
Sorry.
The man had been spending too much time with Faile's people. He called it acquiring polish, whatever that was supposed to mean. A man was not a piece of brass.
Okay, you could acquire a little polish.
It is cute. A little bit. I think it's kind of funny.
What?
Perrin is just completely fuck this. Fuck these stupid rules and shit. Just hang out with me. Just say hi.
Yeah, and I get that, and I get his feelings about it, and it would be weird and uncomfortable. And yes, when I had a bunch of interns, there was a small part of me that was like, but do they like me? Yeah. Do they think I'm cool? And the answer is, you're a decade older than them. No, they do not think you're cool. But, I think that... Yeah, I find this relatable of Perrin, but I still think that he needs to get his shit together a little bit.
Perrin had been looking out over the ridge, and he's like, I really shouldn't be doing this in case I'm spotted. So he comes back and says to Daniel, make sure nobody does anything woolhead foolish like I just did, Daniel. Sharp eyes below might spot movement near the edge of the fog and send men to investigate.
Yeah.
I like Perrin's self-awareness here. That was dumb, what I just did.
Yeah, that was dumb. Why did you do that? Why would you?
He's horny for justice.
He's horny. He's got a hard-on for liberty.
Yeah. Something.
Insert eagle scream.
Something,
That's
long arm of the law.
actually-
Something,
But
whatever.
that's not actually an eagle scream.
Yeah, it's like a red-tailed hawk, I think.
Yeah, it's like a hawk or a falcon.
Hi, that one or whatever. I'm not going to do that again. All right. Balwer comes up and he gives him some news. He's like, hey, Massima's coming. And Perrin's like, God, fuck. I hate this fucking dude. And everybody's like, we told you to kill him like 4 fucking ever ago. And he's like, well, I didn't really have an opportunity.
And he was like, I was practicing weaponized incompetence.
I was kind of distracted with the whole my wife thing. And
but it's one of those 15 minutes a day things. Take 15 minutes a day to kill
the
people
Black
who
Tower.
are a problem.
In a book.
Sorry.
Perrin is like, maybe we should get our scouts away from Massima if they're starting to buy into his shit. And Balwer's like, no, they're just spies. They are very much acting like they're buying in. I can tell the difference. Perrin notably does not reflect on Aram in this moment. He appears to have a gigantic Aram-sized blind spot.
He truly just does not see him at all. It's actually wild to me how much he failed this kid.
He really did. Every fucking turn he failed this kid.
He should feel bad about that. And listen, I'm the first person to be like, it's not your fault.
Oh, no, it's his fault.
This is absolutely 100% his fault.
I believe that Aram is Perrin's greatest failure to this point, at least. I think it is completely his fault.
His most grievous failure is this, for sure. His dumbest failure is the whole, I'll give you Manetheren. That was the dumbest thing he's ever done.
That was pretty dumb.
This is his most grievous failure. And now, how will he look at Isla and Rayan ever again? He completely failed this kid.
Yeah.
This kid was his responsibility, like it or not. And he just abandoned him.
So Perrin comes down to talk to everybody. He's like, hey, Basil
all of
Gill.
A sudden, Aram joins that dance troupe that's actually a cult.
Shen Yun.
They joined Shen Yun.
So Perrin comes in.
I'm just going to see how many cults I can reference.
There's all the ones that are gone now.
He all of a sudden started selling LuLaRoe. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, was just hawking those leggings out of the trunk of his car.
Perrin sees Basil Gill. He's like, I don't want to fucking talk to Massima yet, so I'm going to talk to Basil Gill instead.
It's like, hey, hun, let's have a trunk show.
And
that was Aram.
Hey, Basil Gill, time to fucking, roll out. And Leanie's standing there like, you fucked Barrelane. Perrin is like, I don't have time for this. And Leanie goes, I will not leave this spot until I know that Megden is safe. And the Lady Faile, of course. And
okay, at least she acknowledges the wife. At least Leanie has more cause, right, to be concerned about Megden.
Yes.
Because she fucking raised her.
Yes.
Like, that's a different thing.
Basil Gill goes, my lord, Llangwin and I were thinking maybe we could help out. The Lady Faile means a great deal to us, and Megden is one of our own. I know one end of a sword from the other, and so does Llangwin.
Why doesn't he let them fight? I don't remember.
He's like, no, you're my de facto servants. I need you guys to take care of all the non-combatants in case things go south.
That's valid.
You're my Shambayan, Master Gill. It's your duty to get the cart drivers and grooms and servants to safety. So he has actually internalized some of these lessons from Faile. Yours and Llangwin's.
Well, I feel like this is a thing to do. I don't know if he specifically learned this from Faile.
Shambayan is a Borderlander term.
Oh.
Now go on with you and see to it.
Okay, so he's paying attention.
Leanie was not so compliant. She addressed the fog again. I will not leave this spot until I know... And you know what Perrin does? He just goes... Just claps right in her face.
Which... Leanie needed to have that done a minute ago.
Leanie is the Dark One. We know this. We've been over this.
Well, Leanie's
responsible for every single Trecand.
Every single one. If you have quarrel with the Trecands, it is Leanie's fault. Everyone's like, Leanie with the sayings. I'm like, Leanie's sayings are bad. Like, they are bad. They are borderline offensive. They are. It is like talking to an elderly relative who's problematic at Thanksgiving is Leanie, and then she raised every Tropicana. And I'm not parent shaming, because sometimes shit happens, right? And I'm definitely not parent shaming on Mother's Day, but sometimes shit happens and you get a shitty kid, right? And like your kid just is a shitty kid, right? But if every kid you raise is a shitty kid, we gotta look at the parents.
You're lumping in Elaine and Morghese here.
Okay, Elaine is kind of annoying. She commits the cardinal sin of being kind of annoying. And
go.
she slut-shamed Matt.
She did do that.
After he was assaulted.
So
And she never apologized.
Leanie, by the way...
Did she apologize?
She said, "Oh, you're my subject. Sorry, I understand it better now. I shouldn't have did that."
It's not about being a subject.
We don't.
It's about him being a person.
Well, she's like, I misunderstood, and also I owe you this much because you're my subject. But we don't need to go back to all that bullshit.
We do, apparently.
So Leanie, by the way, is not looking at Perrin when she says this. She's just talking to the air, which is why Perrin claps his hands together like, I'm right fucking here.
Because she won't look at him because she thinks that he slept with Berylane, which, that is so stupid.
It's really dumb.
Because I'm sorry, there's just no way that this dude fucked Berylane. Like, use your fucking heads. All right? Like, there's no way that this guy who was putting this much effort into finding his wife stooped this lady the day after she was taken. There's just no... This idiot who froze in the snow because of big sads. Which, okay, I get it. I, too, have wanted to drift, right? I get it. I, too, have been... What do they even call it? You dissociate so wildly that you don't... You know, I get it. I get that part. But there's no way then that the guy who dissociates so much that he almost freezes to death rails a woman the next day. These people are all dumbasses.
Perrin goes,
honestly, get good gossip. Get gossip that's real.
All you can do here is catch the ague from standing in the damp. That and die. If the Shaido manage to break through, I'll bring Faile out. I'll bring Megden and the others out.
Perrin's like, I will put old-fashioned words for cold.
And you
on here right now
are going north, Leanie. Faile will be upset with me if I let anything happen to you. Master Gil, you make sure she rides with you. You have to tie her up and put her in the back of a cart. And Basil Gill's like, that's the queen's mom. Well, can't say that. Not mom. Whatever.
But, like, as close to.
Yeah. So she what is Morghese's mom's name is Megden, right?
Again, her disguise is crap. It's just like Shail.
Shail is my favorite.
None of the women in this book can disguise themselves.
So Sulin comes back.
The best that they could do was like Nynaeve and Elaine at the circus. That's the best.
That was pretty good. They dyed their hair and shit.
But did they even change their names? Did they?
I don't remember.
It's been a minute. I think they did.
No, they did. They came up with a whole... Yeah, they did.
They came up with like a whole backstory and everything. Yeah.
Nynaeve was a lady's maid and all that stuff.
We've seen so far from the good side.
Names, yeah.
Shail. I'll never get over it.
Sulin comes back and is kind of banged up. And she goes, the Shaido sentries to the north are dead, Perrin-Ibarra, and the men who are going out to replace them. They danced well for Shaido. Perrin's like, y'all good? Everything work out?
She's like, we lost a couple people.
Elienda and Brienne woke from the dream. We all must wake eventually. We had to carry Aviel in the last 2 miles. She will need healing. And Perrin was like, geez, okay, well, all right, great, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was like, she said it with like the casual, like a casual
talking about the fucking weather.
Well, we're in a battle scenario. We don't really have time to do the grieving thing.
Right.
I feel like they must have some kind of like elaborate funeral rite.
You would think, something. We don't necessarily see it.
I feel like in order to have this healthy of an attitude, well, I don't even know if this is healthy.
This casual of a relationship with death?
I get that you would need to have some way of getting out the feelings.
I assume.
I don't know. They've got rituals for everything else.
They do. So, Berylaine's got her coronet on. Why?
Because she wants to go. Do the battle thing.
She kind of would, but she knows she's not gonna. I think it's also like, well, this is a big day. I should wear the regalia.
Which it is a big day. She should wear the regalia. If there's a day to wear the regalia, this is kind of the day.
Yeah.
I get that. We got to put an outfit together if we're dealing with a stressful situation. Sometimes it helps to feel dressed up.
Aram is there, and Perrin is like...
Oh, my God. And he's like,
He's like gravitating towards Massima... What does it say? almost seemed to bask in some light that Masima gave off. Perrin is like, maybe I should have sent him. Well, no, that wouldn't work. All right.
Aram has just started, like, peddling Amway products vigorously.
And Masima comes up to him and he's like...
Because the kid is looking for answers of any kind.
Well, again,
he's the most vulnerable he could be. That's when the cults strike.
Yeah.
They look for people, right, who are young, usually, a lot of the time.
Usually, yes.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
Right? Lack of community.
Yes.
Lack of purpose.
Yes.
You know, and have lost some stuff. Like, the time that these groups strike is when you are emotionally at your worst.
Yes.
So then why the fuck let him be anywhere around Masima? He hero worshipped Perrin. If Perrin had said, I'm not cool with this, Aram would have been like, then I won't do it. And you know what? By the way, if Perrin had paid any kind of attention to Aram and like been there for Aram, when Masima started peddling those fucking lies to Aram, you know what Aram would have said? That's not the guy I know. But instead, Perrin just shoved him away over and over again.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, has Aram, was he at Demise Wells?
Yes.
He was at Demise Wells.
Cackling.
Okay.
While he was slicing people up.
All right. Okay. So, because, yeah. I think you're right about everything you're saying about Aram. One thing that I wonder is if Robert Jordan was exploring soldiers who like it too much. You know, he has that whole thing.
Yeah.
He has that whole thing about the picture of... I know we've talked about this before. I know I'm retreading.
I get it. It's the what happens when you like the axe too much. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that thematically Aram is a problem for me.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to
I'm saying that when it comes to parents' personal decision making,
totally fucked it up.
I want to clock them.
I absolutely think Perrin completely 100% fucked up every single thing to do with him.
I'm like, listen up, bucko.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. This is the apocalypse. We cannot be like leaving these kids out to dry like this.
Yeah.
It's going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
Look what it already did. It bit you in the ass. And none of this had to happen.
No, it did not.
It's because you can't get your shit together and face that you are a fucking leader to these people. You matter to them.
Yeah, well, we've often talked about Perrin's backsliding.
You have a fucking responsibility.
Yeah.
I get that it's not fair that this was thrust on you, but that's the situation. So we gotta rise to meet the occasion, and you have not risen. You have fallen flat, like a laka.
So
no yeast.
Masima comes up and he's like, I see you fuckers are still using the power and only the Dragon Reborn's supposed to do that, you fucks. And Perrin is like, God, I hate this dude so much. But if they know healing, it'll be that much harder to kill the savages. Pity you won't let
you don't need to use that word.
A pity you won't let the Shanshan leash all of them.
All right, that's also just kind of unnecessary and vaguely racist. Actually, kind of overtly racist.
Yeah. Berelain goes, you wanted to speak to Lord Perrin, my Lord Prophet? And he's like, I'm no bloody lord. Different.
Oh my God, I just can't with Masima. You see what you look like, Perrin?
And he rambles for a minute and Perrin is like, what the fuck do you want? Why are you here? God damn it. What the fuck? What do you fucking want? What do you want? You're supposed to be with your dudes. Because I left your boys in the fucking slaughter yard.
Yeah,
I mean, in the path of the axe. I mean, in the fucking killing.
We kind of talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this off mic.
This is a little fucked up.
It's a little fucked up.
Okay.
I understand why he's doing it.
But at the same time, there's such a huge problem.
They are a huge problem. I just
Why
think
not give two birds one hug?
I know. I know, but I do think there's a moment where I have to go, Perrin's plan for the army of zealous peasants is charge the Shaido into them and have them all die. Which I get it. See, I get it. But I'm a little bit like, oh my God.
Well, I'm like, where is this Perrin with the smarts and the thinking any other time?
Yeah.
I was like, great. You know, yes, also scary and bad. But I mean, we're at a point where like these people are cutting off people's ears and shit.
I get it. I understand.
Committing many war crimes.
They're very bad.
We need to get war crime Magima out of the way.
Yeah.
I get that. It's a little fucked up. But again, Robert Jordan thematically is playing with like who are the good guys
Absolutely.
in these situations.
And
Sometimes you have
I
to make
agree
some
with that.
fucked up decisions.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, we could extend some of that tactical thinking to giving one pep talk to Aram a week.
Massima goes,
or at least taking the fucking sword away.
I intend to stay close to you. I'm pitying
Oh,
if
that
any
doesn't seem ominous. Again, we're following the people into the basement.
misfortune should befall you just as you reclaim your wife.
This, again... Oh, that makes me comfortable.
Perrin is
That
like,
makes me comfortable. Why would you even bring that up?
well, that's great.
Why would you even bring that up? Again, do you have something to share with the class? Why would you bring that up, Massima? Oh, let me stand next to this guy. Nothing bad could happen there.
So then Neild shows up with Guy Araba.
Also, Perrin, just shove him into a Shaido
Perrin
while this is happening.
Neild shows up with Guy Araba, Allie. Guy Araba is here. Da-na-na-na.
Who
Sean
is
Chan.
that?
Sean Chan is
Okay.
here. And
Guy Roberts.
I know. And they're like, hey man, those Sean Chan are coming fast. Those Shaido are coming faster than we thought. We have less time than we thought we had. And Perrin is like, huh. All right. Well, the dog is wagging his tail in his sleep is what that is. And he's like, all right, well, shit, we'll be done by noon, so let's fucking roll, baby. And then out in the fog, wolves howled an eerie cry that rose all around Malden. It was truly begun now.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we have to take one more ad break because timing got weird earlier. Okay, we stepped away for a minute, and I forgot where the fuck we are.
Who was I ranting about?
Hang on. Okay, we're back and listen. Yes, I thought it's a POV shift. And Megden is still waving the flag, bit by bit. She's jerking it. And by it, well, let's just say, haha, my flag.
Haven't you ever had a building collapse on you and thought,
What else are you gonna do?
what? I mean, we're waiting for rescue. We got to pass the time.
I don't know why people listen to me.
I don't know either.
So she's waving the flag around and it's great and everybody's sad and it's tough and everybody's... Abruptly, a face appeared beside the scarf. Eravine's face,
That would
framed
scare-
by her
jump
white
scare.
cowl. Jump scare.
Jump scare.
And they're like, holy shit, we did it. And Faile is like, oh my god, it's not the Shaido either. And Eravine is like, hey, hell yeah, girly pop. Slay, let's do it. It was Thero, my lady, Eravine replied. The scamp followed you despite your orders. Alvin and Theral, once again, coming in clutch. MVP,
Ooh.
most valuable peasant in Malden.
God damn.
Malden valuable peasant.
Ugh.
Banana.
Yeah, they got the Oathred too, right?
Yes.
I guess
The goat.
these guys are just built
The
different.
guys have all built different. You know what they do every morning? They rise and grind for shareholder value.
No. Oh wait. If they're peasants that are pair merchants, it could be pair holder value.
Pair holder value.
Why is that so funny to me? Pair holder value. And if they make chairs glass, it could be chair holder value.
He saw Galena leave and the building fall in, and he thought you were dead. He sat down and cried. A voice protested in rough Amedician accents, and Eravine turned her head for a moment. I know someone who's been crying when I see him, boy.
Hey guys, if we find a way to monetize the man versus bear
Bear holder
argument.
value? Very good. And Faile goes, you tell him there's no shame in tears. Tell him I've seen my husband cry when tears were called for. There is no shame in tears. Crying is awesome.
I love crying. It's one of my favorite activities.
And Eravine is like, by the way, Galena apparently knocked the fucking building over.
And then we gotta rock the Casbah. Rock the Casbah. Is that her last name? Casbah?
Casban, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna rock the Casbah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faile don't like it. Okay. So, yeah, she did that, and Eleander's like, what the fuck? And Faile is like, what the fuck?
Alejandro's like, where's our Ganda?
What is the purpose?
Where's
my
Ganda?
boy?
Where's my boy?
Get my boy. I bet he hasn't shut the fuck up. Everyone wants to punch him right in the dick.
So hard to find good help these days. Doesn't he know I'm a shareholder in distress?
Listen, that's a Baldur's Gate. I can make this joke. Is it going to turn out that Arganda is to Alejandra as Barkus Root is to Wolbrin Bongle?
You don't even know how.
I don't. I'm not that far yet.
You don't even know.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Wolbrin Bongle.
I'm almost done with Act 2.
I fucking hate.
What more could he possibly do?
Have you gone back and talked to him?
He's kind of a dick. He's mean to my boy.
Hold on. Spoiler section.
For mild spoilers for Baldur's Gate Act 2.
Barkus Root did like everything he could to rescue Wolbrin Bongle, and Wolbrin Bongle was such a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Root.
I know.
Yeah, I want to fucking kick him in the nuts, the tiny gnome nuts.
Well, what if
his little grape nuts? I want to just.
What if Arganda gets there and saves Alejandra, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
He was so mean to Barkus.
Well, that is actually.
I wanted to give him a knuckle sandwich.
Serious punishment.
He was really mean to my boy Barkus.
I like Barkus Root. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. How dare he?
What the fuck? And then, guess who's here?
Who?
It's actually worse than Arganda.
Oh, who is it?
Rolan.
No.
Also the name of a character in Baldur's Gate.
I fucking hate Rolan.
A much cooler character.
Who's Rolan in Baldur's Gate?
He's that tiefling.
Oh, yeah. I hate Rolan. Oh, my God.
Hey, everybody. It is Editing Gus. The next roughly 15 minutes of the podcast get into some potentially triggering conversations about sexual assault and captor-captor relationships and things like that. If you don't want to hear that, skip approximately 15 minutes and 30 seconds. That should get you through to the end of it. There are no ads between now and the end of that section, so it would not be affected by that timing-wise. Thanks.
Okay, in terms of people I hate, Rolan's got to be, like, top of the list. Who else do I hate? Talonvor, he's up there, but not Gawain. Rolan's the worst one.
We're talking people who... What, do we include, like, Tylan in this? Because obviously she's pretty much tip-top. Yeah.
I've never heard of her.
Sorry, shithead.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Tylan and Rolan are both up there for me because they're both assailants.
They're both pretty bad.
And I'm going to die on the hill of I hate assailants.
I can get behind this.
Tuon's up there because she's a
bad.
slaver. Yeah. Again, I'm showing impeccable taste. Talonvor's up there because he's a nice guy, TM.
He is. So Rolan shows up and goes, "Enough talk. We cannot clear anything with you standing there, Faile Bashir. This thing may fall in when we start. Go to the other end and huddle against the far wall." She's like, "What the fuck?"
And you know what? Here's the fucking thing. About this guy, okay? Can we just... Okay. I'm calming down.
It's okay. You don't have to. They like it when you don't.
Here's the thing about him. He sucks.
Yes.
Like, he's the worst guy on the planet.
He's
because he's
awful.
like, oh, I'm Aiel and I'm tall and sexy, but also I apparently can't get a woman without there being a weird fucking power dynamic. Be fucking for real. And the way Robert Jordan wrote this is just, it's like he read about Patty Hearst and was like, interesting. But I'm not going to get into kind of the psychology behind it. Instead, I'm going to be like, this is what women do.
Patty Hearst, for those who are not familiar with Patricia Hearst, daughter, I believe, of the newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst.
Jesus.
Was
you retained some of that book.
It's a good book. She was kidnapped in the 70s or 80s. From her college campus, I believe, or on the way to her wedding. After her wedding, she was kidnapped. Regardless, by one of the many, vaguely whatever organizations called the Symbionese Liberation Army. The Symbionese Liberation Army named itself Symbionese Liberation Army because they thought that Symbionese was the
adjectival
form of the word symbiotic,
which it is
symbiosis.
Not.
Yeah,
and that's one of the beginnings of how incompetent this group was. But the whole Stockholm syndrome thing, in part, happened because of a bank robbery in Stockholm.
Yeah, but real quick, Patty Hearst
I believe
eventually.
it was a bank robbery.
Patty Hearst was eventually like actively on their side. And then afterwards went to therapy and was like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Shit. This was a weird moment in my life.
Yeah, which, I mean, it seems like she's doing great now. Like, doesn't she have like a bunch of dogs and does like dog shows now?
I don't really
pretty
keep,
sure
I
that's
think she does
true
dog
about
shows
her.
now.
I think she does do dog shows now, which, like, we're happy for her.
Very good book by famed Zoom masturbator and also very, very good journalist. Like, really a great journalist.
Both things can be true.
What's his
name?
Jeffrey Toobin. Yeah.
Here's the thing. So I feel like Robert Jordan read about Patty Hearst and was like, this is how women are.
Called American Heiress.
So Faile, from day one, is like, Rolan's beating her naked ass to keep her awake. And she's like, I hope he does this to me more. Okay, so that's red flag number one. He strips her naked in the first place, which...
don't forget, he kidnaps her.
Uh-huh.
He kidnaps her.
Right, then he's like, it doesn't count when you're guy Shane.
Yeah.
Basically. And kind of implies that she should be like shacking up with him, which other women do this.
Yeah.
They shack up with Faile for protection.
I think it's Aravine is one of them.
Which is absolutely goddamn sick.
Yes, it is.
Like, if you are taking advantage of a power dynamic like that, like promising your protection, you should be promising your protection regardless.
Yes.
Like, if you're promising protection in exchange for sex, you're a fucking...
Yeah, that's bad.
You're a fucking assailant.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, that's rape.
That's bad.
That's rape,
very
babes.
bad.
That's rape, babes. That is rape, babes. And he's basically implying that should be their dynamic. He gives her weird massages. I don't care that that's supposedly to keep her alive. I don't care. He's weird about it the whole time.
That's part of why
he couldn't
it's
have
so
brought
fucking
her a
creepy.
Fucking blanket.
It's because he's like, I'll do this and you'll like it because it's good for you and you make you.
Yeah.
Because he ties it to things that are not explicitly sexual. I mean, like, the whole thing is very...
feels like he's testing her boundaries.
Well, yeah.
There's this whole thing of, like, when people talk about grooming...
Yes. I mean, yeah.
Like, it's not just, like, I'm trying to wait until this girl is old enough. There's also a certain extent to which, like, people who assault people, like Rolan objectively does in this chapter to not just Faile, but also Megden. And here's the thing that's really fucking sick about it. Is he's in the middle of saving their lives.
Yeah,
and he thinks to himself, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this situation. Like, the fact that there are people in this community, I'm sorry if this is you, but to think that this is a good fucking person is insane to me. Uh-huh. It's insane to me. Like, we do not think the same. It's okay if we don't think the same, but to me, this guy is a walking red flag. Like, more than Talonvor.
Oh, much more than Talonvor.
He is, like, right under Tylan in terms of his bullshittery.
Well, I think what is honestly in some ways more concerning about
I shouldn't say insane. I'm trying not to do that anymore, but you know what I mean.
What in many ways to me is more of a red flag about Rolan is that he does everything so gradually and slowly, and he makes a point to, like, push the line and cross it, but in ways where he's like, no, it's okay. You know? Like, he on paper, he repeatedly goes, well, I'm not going to do anything you're not comfortable with. I will massage you and, get you naked and stuff.
Ass. He's doing all this shit there.
I know. And
that's
I know we
agree. I know we agree.
I'm saying what is concerning about that is that he does all these things, but they are all such small pushes of boundaries.
Yes.
They are still pushes of boundaries.
That is still grooming.
But it's still, like, he's pushing the boundary an inch at a time. He's still pushing the boundary.
That's what these kinds of people do.
Yes, that's the problem. It's like a crab.
What these kinds of people
or a frog, boiling a frog.
Yeah, they see what they can get away with, and they push the boundary a little bit each time.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking pervert. He's a fucking sick fucking pervert.
Yeah,
and I'm glad Perrin bashed his fucking head in. That's the best thing he's done in books.
Well, and I think it's also extremely realistic that Faile starts having all these weird fucking feelings about him.
Because you are in an abusive environment, right? When you're in an abusive environment, the enabler who still acts like they're good to you is going to be the person you gravitate toward because they're the one potentially safe person that's there.
Well,
but they are not safe. That doesn't make them safe. They're complicit.
Let's not forget, he's also continuously putting himself out there as her protector, her only hope of escape, the person who will keep her from getting assaulted by all of the other fucking brotherless.
And he's manipulating her.
Well, and what else? He's always really playful with her. He acts like it's all a big game. We can play kissing games. It'll be okay. I'm not a real threat. All this other stuff.
Kissing games.
Yeah, I know. And like Faile, all through these parts, she's like, I want him to spank me more, but it's only because I want it to be warm. I want him to give me more back rubs because it makes me feel warmer. These two chapters, I think is the and again, I'm not saying this is not realistic. What is so fucking creepy and scary about it to me is what happens?
He goes, I'll meet you in the he says
I'll meet you in the woods,
he's gonna help her escape.
Because he's been saying that for a while.
But only insofar as she goes with him.
Yeah.
And he goes,
point.
Your husband won't mind your gaishe.
Yeah, and then he does claim like, oh, and then I'll let you go.
But he also goes, or we go to the desert together.
Yes, he's leaving that option open, and he continually is giving her these potential avenues out. But he has never actually followed through on an avenue out from him.
But the problem is that he is entirely self-serving because the escape and the protection is all dependent on her making him happy.
Yeah.
That is the subtle thing under all of it.
Yeah, and then in this section, like he starts pinching everybody else's asses, and she's like, well, that couldn't be, I'm not jealous, right? I couldn't possibly be jealous.
Creep. He's a fucking creep. He's an assailant, pervert, fucking
But what
creep.
I want to emphasize
I'm glad
here,
he's dead.
Me too. What I want to emphasize here is the how into Faile's head he got.
Yes.
And how fucked that is.
He fucked with her head.
Because, again, he starts doing this to other people, and she feels what she claims is not jealousy. And then Perrin kills him, and she feels guilt and shame. Happiness, but also confusion, guilt, and shame.
Yes, because he has been fucking complicit in her abuse, but in such a way that he looks good in comparison, and he knows that.
Right, yeah,
and
it's
is
very deliberate.
Manipulating her this entire fucking time to be like, and this is the thing about nice guys. This is the thing about these fucks, okay? They act like they care about you. They don't. They just want to get their fucking dick wet and go do something else. They're assholes. Mm-hmm. If your whole thing is, I will be nice to you until I am denied sex, you are not a fucking nice guy. This is not a nice guy. And this is what drives me crazy about these people, is they operate under the fucking delusion. They've manipulated themselves oftentimes into thinking they're good people. They're
I'm
not.
sure Rolan thinks he's a good guy.
He's a fucking
I'm
fuckhead.
sure he thinks so. I think he's terrible.
No, I wanted Perrin to smash him more.
I did too. It was nice.
He's a bad man. He's a bad man. And the scary thing about guys like Rolan is, like, you don't often meet mustache twirling rapists in real life. You meet guys like fucking Rolan who push you and push you and push you until you do something, right, that you realize you didn't want to do. Mm-hmm. But they confuse you and they fucking manipulate you and push you until, like, you feel like there is no other option. This is a bad man.
Yes.
He and his friends who are fucking these women, who, by the way, they are raping these women. These are their captives. Yes. I don't care if there is consent. There's no consent when you are a captive.
Well, that's the issue with that we talked about Logain and Covine.
Right, because they're doing it to survive.
Yeah.
And this is the fucking thing, is that, like, oftentimes it is stuff like this. And so I'm just, like, I just don't understand. Like I was on the House of the Dragon subreddit the other day, which is such a dumpster fire. But everyone was debating as to whether or not Allison, I'm so sorry that we should probably slap a warning on this.
Yeah, I will.
But everyone was debating as to whether or not Allison had been maritally raped by Viserys.
I'd like to also preface this by saying we are not inviting any House of the Dragon discourse at all.
We are also not inviting any rape discourse. Please
Yeah.
do not talk to us about it. This is hard and fast what this is. All right. I don't give a fuck if you feel like it was the times. I don't give a fuck. First of all, there are no times. This is a fantasy world. There is no, like, that was the same thing here. They were like, oh, but it was the times. You can't judge it by 2024 standards. I'm like, you absolutely fucking can, you dunces. Absolutely you can. Because it's not real. One. And two, we also used to leech people. Doesn't make it right. Like, God, people are so goddamn dumb. All right. So anyway, Rolan is a pervert. He's a bad man. I'm glad he's dead. He contributed nothing to the world. If he was a good man, he would have either let Faile go or offered her protection, no strings attached. And the fact that these other women felt forced to sleep with these men, these are bad men.
Yes.
Bad men.
Well, they all die.
Good.
And notably...
Do it again.
Notably...
Kill him twice.
Aravine kills the one she was sleeping with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know why that is? Because he was raping her.
Yeah.
So. And yes, of course, Faile is fucking having her mind warped. She had her mind warped by this man because he was an enabler of a much larger system. I don't give a fuck that he was planning on leaving. Okay? He could have left way earlier.
He didn't have to
go in the first place.
Yeah, he didn't have to kidnap her.
He didn't have to kidnap her. He didn't have to make her going with him predicated on her going with him.
Yeah. Even though he said, you can leave after we get a whiz out there.
I don't care. Him making jokes about like, what happens when your guy Shane stays guy Shane. That's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
All right. This man is a bad man.
Yeah.
Ugh. He's a bad man. So I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah, me too. He's great.
And not only that, this is how bad of a man he is. He is literally rescuing women, distressed women who have been through hell because a building collapsed on them and they've been stranded for hours. They are like dehydrated as fuck. And his first thought is to pinch their asses as he's rescuing him. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, goddamn, fuck that guy. Skull fuck his fucking corpse.
He's not good. I'm not
good.
I'm not a fan. I'm agreeing.
He's from Satan's butthole.
No, I'm agreeing with you. He sucks.
God.
I'm glad he's dead. I was talking to Bree before reading these chapters, and I said, I think I put it, Happy Rolan head pulping weekend.
What a great weekend.
Yeah, it's great. Get him.
God. I'm glad I never have to read about this man again. I'm going to have to read about Faile feeling fucked up about this, aren't I?
Maybe.
Which is realistic because you know what? That shit happens. People like this who are manipulative like this, they warp your fucking brain.
Yeah.
I just want her to know it's not her fucking fault.
I agree with that. Right.
Anyway.
So he's going to die soon.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
I'm glad Faile and Perrin are reunited.
Yeah. So we go back to Perrin. Perrin's great. We love Perrin.
We're getting to Aram trying to kill Perrin, right?
Soon. Not yet, but soon.
That is entirely Perrin's fault.
It is. If Massima really wants to kill the lady first, capital F first. So first of my end, so Berylane.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was
the
Berylane.
audiobook.
It wasn't Faile.
Yeah.
Still, I don't understand what his motive would be, but you know what?
He's a dick.
An absolute religious nut job.
Then Tam shows up.
Tam shows up.
Tam's here. How's Tam?
Tam's doing poorly.
He's fucking chilling, man.
Well, other than the fact that his son might be the Dragon Reborn.
Apart from that.
Freaking him out. And Perrin owed him an honest answer for that and did not deliver. I will forgive Perrin. I'm willing to forgive Perrin for the Aram thing and the Tam thing because he pulped Roland's head. How do you like your orange juice? Maximum pulp.
Tam watched Grady vanish into the gray murk. I could wish I'd had some other way to get here. Fellows like him visited the two rivers a while back. One called himself Mazrim Taim.
No.
Name we all heard. A false dragon. Only now he wears a black coat with fancy embroidery and calls himself the Mihail. They talked everywhere about teaching men to channel about this black tower. He freighted the words with sourness. The village councils tried to put a stop to it in the women's circles, but they ended up taking above 40 men and boys with them.
40? Jesus Christ, that's a lot.
Thank the light some listened to sense, or I think they'd have had 10 times that. His gaze shifted to Perrin. Taim said Rand sent him. He said Rand is the dragon reborn. There was a touch of questioning in that, perhaps a hope for denial, perhaps a demand to know why Perrin had kept silent.
Well, Perrin had kept silent because it's not like you two could communicate.
Oh.
There's no cell phone. What?
Oh, this is different from the audiobook.
What?
He changed it.
What?
Yeah, because in the audiobook, I remember, we listened to this part twice, Perrin doesn't say anything
No.
in the audiobook.
What?
In this one, it goes, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. It's not different.
Yeah. Perrin
Those
does
hues
say,
whirled
like,
in
one
Perrin's
thing.
head, but he batted them away and answered by not answering. What was. Nothing to be done about it now, Tam.
A little reassurance, or like just a last time I saw him, he seemed like he was all right. Like something.
So Galeen and Arganda...
I don't know. That was just such a non-answer.
Galeen and Arganda pull up, and he's like, hey, guys, this is Tam Thor. He's my first captain. Fuck you.
For a man who's been in your life since you were a wee bairn.
Yeah. And they're like, this guy's your first captain, huh? This is a fucking farmer? Okay. All right. Well, sure.
He's a really good fucking farmer.
That's cool. Whatever works for you.
Just ask the women's circle. Or the men's square, whatever he is interested in.
So everybody gets ready to do some shooting and some fighting. And Perrin starts just walking down towards the city.
Dumb, but...
You know, it's kind of badass.
Oh, no, definitely.
Cinematically. Him, of course, who's with him? Aram. Yeah, Aram's with him. And the Shaido are like, what the fuck? And Perrin is like, here we go. And then there's a charge, and it's cool. And do you want me to read all the battle tactics stuff? I can.
I'm sure it will make you happy. There's a phalanx.
After a moment, half a dozen of the Shaido... Well, actually, before we do that, we need to take another ad break. Welcome back. After a moment, a couple dozen... Well, how close is the end of the chapter? It's not. After a moment, half a dozen of the Shaido started toward them, slowly. They had not veiled. Likely they were hoping he and Aram would not be frightened into running. Among the tents, people were pointing at the two fools on the slope. The sound of running boots and hooves and snorting horses made him look over his shoulder. Arganda's Geldanin appeared out of the fog first, in their burnished breastplates and helmets, riding behind a rippling red banner.
Oh, yay, it's you.
There were the three six-pointed silver stars of Geldan, and then the winged guards in their red armor behind the golden hawk on a field of blue on Mayen. Between them, Danil began arraying the Two Rivers men in 3 ranks, etc., etc. So it's cool. They have the wolf head banner, and no one's carrying it, but it's there. There's a bunch of stuff about battle formation. Barrelane is there. She's back with her soldiers who have been held back from the fighting, and the wise ones are getting ready, and the Aes Sedai are getting ready, and everybody's getting ready, and it's all very dramatic. Perrin nodded. The gates called to him. So there's a battle.
You're so good at reading.
Thank you. I've been doing it since I was very young, so I hope I can
know.
do it okay. This battle starts, and the Tam brought a bunch of bowmen, and the bowmen, the Aiel... What is this? The Shaido began beating their spears rhythmically against their bull-hide bucklers. Rat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat. The sound rose like thunder. All of the Algai de Siswai had been drawn out, it seemed. That was the plan, after all. There must have been 20,000 of them near enough, all pounding their bucklers. Rat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat-tat. After the Aiel war, I hope never to hear that again.
That's what Faile wants Rolan to do to her, but...
Ugh. Tam said loudly.
I had to make a joke because it makes me scream inwardly.
Will you give the command, Lord Perrin?
And outwardly.
You do it. Perrin eased his hammer again. And yeah, so, I don't want to just read all this. So, like, what do we got going on here? We've got the bows are getting ready to go, and the channelers are getting ready to go.
We got war.
Yeah. It's very dramatic. And they're like, did the tea work? I hope the tea worked.
It did.
It did.
But not everybody drank it.
Yeah, a couple of them didn't drink it. And they start throwing fireballs, and they do fireballs back, and that's a level 4 spell, so, that's dramatic.
They didn't have any Brita filters.
I like this, though. The wise ones are, like, waiting to start attacking.
Yay.
And Idara is like, hold on. And then Anura goes, well, I, for one, feel in danger. And Adara just stares at her until she stands down. And she goes, perhaps I can wait a little longer. And the Shaido are singing, wash the spears.
See, this is why when people are like, how could Moraine have attacked the Shan-Chan ships? I'm like, you can justify it to yourself.
You always can, yeah.
First of all, I would have been thought to myself, like, I'm not attacking people, I'm attacking ships. Probably the people can swim. 1. 2, dragon dies, I die.
Everyone
End
dies.
of the world.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. Easy.
So they start singing Wash the Spears. It's great. I don't know. I mean, I could read all this, but I don't really want to just read like 5 straight pages of battle. It's good. It's good battle.
You can read it. Read as much as you want.
No,
What's exciting to you?
It's all exciting. I don't want to just sit here and read for pages on end.
I fail to see why not.
Because it's just narration of battle. It's good, and if you would like to hear it,
read some parts. Read some parts. What's some good parts? Rolan getting his head smashed.
Longbows raise on my signal, Tam shouted. Longbows raise on my signal. Perrin shook his head. It was too soon. Thousands of bowstrings.
Nah, it's Tam Althor. He knows.
Thousands of bowstrings snapped behind him. Arrows arced over his head. The sky seemed black with them. Seconds later, another flight followed, then a third. Fireballs burned swathes through them, but it was still thousands of arrows that fell in a deadly hail onto the Shaido. Of course, he'd forgotten to factor in the bowman's elevation. That gave them a little more distance. Trust Tam to see it right away. Not every arrow struck a man, of course. Many plunged into the ground. Perhaps half struck Algai de Siswai, piercing arms or legs, striking bodies.
This does make a compelling case for shields.
They left hundreds lying still, though, and the second flight put down hundreds more, as did the third.
You know what would have probably done well with this? A phalanx.
Yeah, probably. Some raised their bows and shot. An arrow grazed Perrin's left arm, but the rest fell short. Not by far, though. The sudden sharp... that's hard to say. The sudden sharp sound of Shan-Chan horns. That's a hard one.
The sudden
sharp sound of
sound of Shan-Chan horns.
The sudden sharp sound of Shan-Chan horns. The sudden sharp sound of Shan-Chan...
That when Robert Jordan wrote that, he flipped off Michael Livingston?
Not Michael Livingston. Michael Kramer.
Michael Kramer. That's what I meant.
The sudden sharp sound...
There are many Michaels involved.
The sudden sharp sound of Shan-Chan horns. The sudden sharp sound of Shan-Chan horns. The sudden sharp sound of Shan-Chan horns. That's hard.
That's really hard. The sudden sharp sound of Shan-Chan horns. That's really hard.
Pulled his gaze north and south just in time to see the ground erupt in fountains of fire among the flanking parties. Spears of lightning
Damn,
stabbed
Robert
into
Jordan
them.
really said alliteration today.
The Damane were being kept back in the trees for the time, but they did deadly work.
Oof.
So this is rough.
It's rough times.
Ty Lee claimed Damane were used for all sorts of tasks, but the truth was...
Not healing, though, apparently.
They were weapons of war, and they and the Suldam were very good at it. And
I fail to understand why both the Aiel and the Shan-Chan, who pride themselves on war shit...
Don't have healing?
Don't have healing powers.
I don't know. They forgot, I guess.
Why was that not a priority?
I don't know. I guess they forgot.
It's a matriarchy. Obviously, we will put all of our resources into war and none into healing when women are giving birth and shit.
So the
yeah, that makes sense. It's definitely a matriarchy. That makes goddamn sense.
The wise ones and the Shaido or the fucking Aes Sedai. Everybody's just barreling, oh my god, bombarding the Shaido, and they start to fall back. And they start advancing. Perrin was supposed to make that slow advance with the others, but he began to walk down the slope faster and faster. The gates tugged at him. His blood was becoming fire.
What are the gates again?
The doors of the city behind which he assumes he will find Faile.
It keeps sounding like it's magic gates to me for some reason.
Because you've been playing Baldur's Gate.
Probably.
Yeah, and there's a lot of magic gates in Baldur's Gate.
Well, there's a lot of magic gates in this, too. There's like 5,000 different kinds of gates that are magic. Gateways, wade gates. Jesus Christ.
His blood was becoming fire. Elias claimed it was a natural feeling when you were in danger of your life, but he could not see it.
Oh, Elias, that guy who gave you that great pep talk that you failed to give Aram?
He had almost drowned in the waterwood once, and he'd felt nothing like this thrill that was surging through him now. Someone behind shouted his name, but he trotted on, picking up speed. So he is fully ignoring...
It was Aram. He was like, wait, come back. I have to kill you.
Aram is with him, and he's just fully ignoring battle formation and everything else, and he's just charging out front.
Always what you want to do in a battle. That's what they say. Like, fuck battle formations. Fuck your phalanx.
Abruptly, half a dozen veiled men turned back... Abruptly is Robert Jordan's favorite word. Abruptly, half a dozen veiled men turned back, gripping spears, and started toward him and Aram at the run. Not using their bows meant they had expended their arrows. He'd heard tales of champions, of men who decided the future by single combat between two armies that would abide by the outcome.
David and Goliath?
Well, it's kind of a, fantasy staple.
I know, but also David and Goliath.
The Aiel had no such tales. He did not slow down, though. His blood was fire. He was fire. And he pulverizes these guys. And so does Aram also pulverizes these guys. Blood gouted, and he was running again while the man was falling. He had to reach Faile. Fire in his blood, fire in his heart, fire in his head. No one and nothing would keep him from Faile.
Okay, that's kind of hot.
It's pretty hot. And that's the end of chapter 29. Chapter 30, I jokingly, when this started, because it started with a Kate Redding narration, I went, and now we're going to switch to Elaine. And you were like, what?
Yeah, for a second I really bought that and was big mad.
It's called, outside the gates, those are the logo. This is going to be a long one, that's okay.
Shield and Buckler.
Yeah.
I'm not even quipping right now.
Here are your notes.
We got shit to talk about. All right. Okay, but the building is going to collapse, so let's go. Oh my god, I hate this guy. It's Rolan. He's just pinching all the women he's saving. Faile goes like, don't leave Magdon or whatever. And I was like, do not leave Magdon alone with him. And then he goes, I'll meet you in the forest. And I was like, definitely would not go into the forest with that guy. Definitely would pick the bear. For those of you who don't know, there's a discussion online as to whether or not women would pick in a forest a strange man or a strange bear. Of course, a lot of people are missing the point of that, which is that we know the bear would kill us quickly. That is what it is. Jesus Christ. I knew it. I knew it.
As Aram.
Yeah. Don't leave the lost boy alone with the cult leader. I knew it. Perrin should feel so bad about this. I am both mad and disappointed, Perrin. This is entirely your fault.
It is.
She feels guilt and shame. It's okay, Faile. Stockholm Syndrome is a thing. All right, so before anybody says something, I know that some people say that it's not real, but it is a theory. Okay, and also... it makes sense that, it just makes sense of theory. Anyway, whatever. I don't want to debate the finer points of Stockholm Syndrome, but that is what Robert Jordan clearly read about.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Even now she's taking charge. She should have a hot toddy and a blankie. What is going on? Epsom salt bath seems appropriate after you get kidnapped. My God. Why nude with Savannah?
Well,
just why nude? It's always nude. When are the men going to be naked? When are the men going to get their asses pounded like a drum while they're nude, draped over a horse? Fuck that. All right. Jesus. Faile is doing all the emotional labor even now.
She is, yes. She does really take charge right away.
You know that song that's like, you make me do too much labor? Yeah. That's how I feel about Faile.
Chapter 30, I said the gates Faile at the start. They're trying to get them out of the thing. And then Rolan, we don't have to talk about this.
Like she doesn't even get like a hot shower or something before everybody just starts asking her, like before she just starts taking charge. It's just...
Rolan is horrible and says dumb shit.
Boo, we hate you. We can't wait for your face to get smashed.
And...
it's not the kind of smashing he thought he'd be doing today, but...
we already talked about most of this, so I don't
too bad.
Feel the need to reiterate most of what's going. She kicks him in the head by accident.
Good. Do it again. And he's like, you know what would be a great thing to do to these traumatized women? Pinch their asses. God, I hate this guy.
Everybody else gets slowly lifted out. Meg then goes, he pinched me, and Faile felt a stab of not jealousy, certainly not that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay, we don't need to talk about this. We already talked about this. Morghese passes the fuck out because she drinks the tea, and they have to carry her. She does think about how she's glad she has a dagger, because she might need it.
Yeah, because Rolan's a goddamn creep.
Mm-hmm.
She is not safe with him.
No. And then we switch to Perrin. We don't need to talk about that guy anymore. And
well, we're about to not have to talk about that guy anymore.
Some Shaido.
Can we, please, after this, anytime he comes up ever again, we just bloom.
Sure.
Yay.
There's some Shaido bust out from the thing, and Perrin kills them. A hint of motion at the corner of his left eye.
You know what I really enjoy? Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
So far, all of the assailants who are like, I'm such a nice person, but I'm also an assailant, Tylan and Rolan, have had deliciously brutal deaths.
They have, yeah.
That is appropriate.
Yeah. A hint of motion at the corner of his left eye made him throw himself to the right. A sword whisked through the air where his neck would have been Aram's sword. Blood coated half his face like a strange mask. There were blood-wet rents in his red-striped coat, and his eyes looked almost glazed, like those of a corpse.
Okay, that's been happening.
Perrin goes, have you gone mad?
He's
what are you doing?
I just looked at you for the first time in a minute.
The prophet explained it to me. Aram sounded in a daze, yet his sword moved with liquid ease. All Perrin could do was hope he did not trip over a tent rope or come up against a tent as he's retreating. Your eyes, you're really shadow spawn. It was you who brought the Trollocs to the Two Rivers. He explained it all. Those eyes. I should have known the first time I saw you. You and Elias with those shadow spawn eyes. I have to rescue the Lady Faile from you. Perrin gathered himself.
Okay, that whole line about the eyes, though, could have also been so romantic.
He could not keep moving 10 pounds of steel as quickly as Aram moved a sword that weighed a third of that. Somehow he had to get close, get beyond that blade blurring with the speed of its motion. If he waited much longer, the man was going to kill him. Something caught his heel and he staggered backward, nearly falling. Aram darted in, his sword chopping down. Suddenly he stiffened, eyes going wide, and the blade dropped from his hands. He toppled forward to lie on his face, 2 arrows jutting from his back.
Damn.
30 paces beyond him, a pair of veiled Shaido already had arrows knocked and drawn again.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
So then Perrin deals with those guys, and then he looks back. He could see Aram lying where he had fallen. A scrap of breeze ruffled the dark fletchings on the arrows sticking up from his back.
Damn.
Elias had been right. He never should have let Aram pick up that sword. He should have sent him away with the carts or made him go back to the Tinkers. So many things he should have done.
Yes.
Too late now.
Feel bad about it.
The gates called to him.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I would want you to be this singularly focused on me. I'm like, would you, I think I did during the recording go, would you be this focused on getting me back? I'd be this focused on getting you back. Actually, I'd be maybe more unhinged than Perrin. So maybe I should cut Perrin some slack, actually.
So Aram's dead.
Yeah. Seeing Isla and Rayan would be really awkward in the future. Damn.
It would be. They seem to have kind of disowned Aram.
I don't think that means they didn't love him.
Yeah, I know. Do we have anything else to say about Aram, or shall we?
I ranted about it for a long time.
Yeah, we'll wave him away. It's been an experience.
Sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
Everybody's bummed.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm sad.
I think Perrin should be sadder. I don't know, man. This was your buddy. I think you need to accept that this was your fault, bro. Maybe he will later.
I don't know. Can we kill Massima, like, quickly? Please. I know he got away, which, no, Robert. This was the time. It's time to murder Massima. We could have had a 3-peat.
Mm-hmm. Rounding a corner only a few paces from the wide-open gates, he found them filled with people. Most were garbed in dirty white robes, but 3 were veiled Algai de Siswai, one of them a hulking fellow who would have dwarfed Lamgwin. That one had Faile's arm in his fist. She looked as if she'd been rolled in dirt. With a roar, Perrin rushed forward, raising his hammer, and the huge man flung Faile back and ran toward him, spear coming up as he plucked his buckler from his belt. Perrin!
We've
Faile
had
screamed.
2 people who've had buildings collapse on them.
Yes. Well, it's been 3
If I had 2 nickels, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice.
The big Shaido seemed to hesitate for a heartbeat, and Perrin took advantage of it. His hammer hit the side of the man's head so hard that his feet left the ground as he fell.
Okay, here's the thing about Faile. This is actually her fault, because if she really had wanted to save him, she would have yelled more than just Perrin. Like, Perrin, he's a nice guy. Like, how hard is that? Perrin, he's a nice guy, please don't. Additional context. Perrin could mean anything.
She was excited to see him. I don't think she was trying to... Do you think she was trying to keep him from...
Yeah, I do.
Ah, interesting.
I mean, I think it could be read either way. But she said she screamed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that Rolan's dead. I'm glad she didn't provide additional context if that's what she was trying to do, because I don't want Rolan alive.
No.
I think he's a bad man and he deserves to die.
Another was right behind him, though, spear ready to stab. Suddenly the man grunted, surprise in the green eyes above his black veil, and dropped to his knees, peering over his shoulder at Faile, who stood close.
What? All I did was sexually assault your wife on the rag.
Slowly, he fell forward, revealing a ridged steel hilt rising from his back, so Faile killed this one.
Good.
Perrin looked hastily for the third and found him also lying on his face with two wooden knife hilts sticking out of his back. Lucille was leaning against Arella, weeping. No doubt she'd found actually killing someone not so easy as she had supposed. No, it's because she had very weird, conflicted feelings about the captor-captive thing. Also,
it's a lot of things.
Yeah,
but killing people is hard. As much as I advocate for killing Rolan,
well, he's not real.
I am not an actually violent person.
No, it's fiction. We're talking about what
I
happened in fiction.
can't even kill a spider.
No, we always take them outside. And then I saw a TikTok that was like, apparently they died.
My whole life. It ruined
Terrible.
my whole life. It ruined my whole life. Well, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, and then I saw one recently and I just left it. I was like, I don't know what to do at this point.
In the house?
Yes. It wasn't a deadly one.
I think they'll be okay outside. They have to come from outside. They'll crawl back under and
they'll find a way back in the house.
Sure, good for them.
That'll be comforting
to us. This is great.
To us.
All right. So he grabs Faile.
That did ruin my whole day.
Perrin had eyes only for Faile. Letting knife and hammer fall, he stepped over the dead men and gathered her in his arms.
I love that you didn't tell me about that TikTok.
We both just saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would I have told you about that? It's depressing for you.
Yeah, I would have cried. I cried seeing it anyway.
The smell of her filled his nose. It filled his head. She smelled strongly of charred wood, of all things, but he could still smell her.
Yeah, I did leave it in the house. I just left it and pretended I didn't see it.
I've dreamed of this moment so long, he breathed. I have too, she said against his chest.
I didn't think it'd have all this weird connotations
her scent was,
and asterisks.
Her scent was full of joy, but she was trembling. Did they hurt you? He asked gently. No, Perrin, they didn't hurt me.
They spanked my ass like a drum, Perrin.
There were other smells mixed in with her joy, though.
I also feel like...
Laced through it inextricably. The dull, aching scent of sadness and the greasy aroma of guilt. Shame, like thousands of hair-fine needles pricking.
Oh my god.
Well, the man was dead, and a woman had the right to keep her secrets if she wanted. Allie's furrowing her brow and picking at her hand and going,
I don't know about that.
Bloom, bloom, bloom?
Well, there's too much to unpack. Because on the one hand, here's what I'll say. On the one hand, Faile doesn't have to tell him anything about her time in captivity, right? Like, if you can't force someone to divulge their trauma to you.
No,
that's not
that doesn't work. You can't do that.
That's not an acceptable way to handle anything. What they divulge to you is what they divulge to you. So I agree to that. But that doesn't feel like that's the sentiment. Do you know what I mean? Like, that could be the way to interpret it, but it could also be like, well, if she fucks some dude, she fucks some dude.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it's
that.
I think it's kind of that.
Yeah. So that's why I feel weird about it. Because I'm like, well, if the meaning is, if she had something...
Here's what I will tell you. The Encyclopedia Watt page summarizes this part as Perrin assumes she was cactused.
And see, so if that is the assumption, if he's like, okay, so something happened, she doesn't have to tell me. Okay, that's complex to me because yes, she does not have to tell you anything. And she especially doesn't have to tell you right now when you're in front of a bunch of people, right?
Right.
But I'm like, does that mean we don't continue to support her emotionally as if she is traumatized?
I think he's going to. I mean, I
hope so.
Yeah, no, listen.
But I'm like, because I'm like, what I don't want is him to go like, well, she doesn't want to tell me, so I can't help her, which I'm hoping is not the thing.
Here's the thing. Perrin, for all of his faults, is completely obsessed with his wife.
I do love that about him.
And, like, he does all this weird fucking shit later this chapter because, like, well, Elias told me I should, stare at Savannah's ass, and I should do this, and I should do that.
Why?
You know
now?
what? We'll get there. We'll get there.
Now?
I know. You're doing the bird box face. But wait. So my point being, I think Perrin, and he's like, I should be more angry with her. I should be that, right?
Now?
I know. Look, I know. Listen, yes, veracity of those statements in the real world for universal application relationships aside.
Well, not just the real world, but the situational awareness. This man has no situational awareness.
I know.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is, I think Perrin will try to do basically everything in his power to support Faile emotionally in literally any way he can. Is what I'm saying.
And I hear that.
Yeah, I just want to clarify.
I hear that. It does not ease my fears, considering that Perrin has the emotional intelligence of a noodle.
Cooked or dry?
You know when you forget that it's boiling?
Oh.
You probably don't.
No.
But I do. I have forgotten the noodles before soaking in water, and they've become these bloated, like, limp things. A bloated, limp little noodle that's over water saturated. It falls apart when you pick it up and tastes like mush.
So he hugs her.
Bree's listening to this like, that girl's a writer.
And he goes, all that matters is that you're alive and we're together again. That's all that matters in the world. And they hug and they hug and they hug. And then she immediately is like, all right, let me check your wounds out. Okay, I'm in compartmentalization mode. I'm in getting shit done mode.
And this is the thing.
Which might be a trauma response.
It might be. And we all need to realize that this is probably a trauma response and go like, I hear that you want to get busy.
Hey.
Not that kind.
Well, actually.
I hear that you want to be busy. That can also be a trauma response. What?
When Rand lost his hand, everybody said that.
What?
They said, Rand, you're in shock. This is a trauma response. You can't be doing this right now.
And I mean, let her, if she wants to do stuff, let her do stuff. But like, let it be, hey, the troop needs apples. Could you procure some, like little tasks, like nothing that takes a lot of mental fatigue. I mean, I guess let the victim decide what she wants to do. But at the same time, I'm like, there was no effort to offer her a hot toddy, and I feel like a hot toddy would be very appropriate, or an Epsom salt bath, or a nap.
She redirects everything into, let's get all the guy shine out, because I know where they are, therefore I can help with this. Let's rescue all the captives.
Yes, but she's in fight or flight mode, and she needs to process.
I know.
And I think that someone, her husband maybe someone who gives a shit about her emotional well-being could be like, hey, I hear this, and this is a trauma response, like we did with Rand. Somehow Rand gets his hand held. Bad choice of words. But, he gets a lot of the emotional care that I think the women just don't get.
Yeah, I'd agree with
when
that.
They're traumatized, like they just don't get anyone going, hey, this is a trauma response, or you're in shock. Like Faile is absolutely in shock. She was kidnapped in constant fight or flight mode, beaten constantly, right? Beaten all the time. Mm-hmm. Had a building fall on her, then watched the guy who emotionally manipulated and abused her this entire time get his head crushed.
By her husband.
By her husband, the man who is supposed to save her and love her unconditionally. And then Perrin stares at a woman's ass in front of her.
I blame Elias for that.
I blame Elias for a lot of shit.
Yeah. I love how Elias in book one.
Elias is racist.
In book one, he vibes and he's like, I'm a wolf dude. It's awesome. And then he shows up in book 8, 9, and he's like, let me tell you what I think about Saldeans.
I've suddenly become
women.
Your racist uncle.
I have a lot of feelings about women, Saldeans, and Saldean women.
Right.
We're like, excuse me, sir?
Excuse me, Uncle Elias. Please go back into your man cave.
Why are you here? We haven't done any wolf shit. We didn't do any wolf shit.
We haven't done any wolf shit in 45
howled,
years.
But they didn't.
Where were they?
They didn't do anything. They were.
The wolves will howl, and that's how you'll know I'm coming. It means, Robert, that we expect wolves to do shit.
No, we can't be doing that.
Fulfill the promise to your audience, please, for the love of God.
Let me tell you something.
All right.
This is the last you see of Robert Jordan writing Perrin. And I will tell you this. From what I know, and this has no bearing on what actually is or is not in the remaining books, Robert Jordan left basically one line of notes about Perrin, and the notes had nothing to do with wolves. To my understanding, I could be wrong.
Robert, all due respect, you cannot give me Teen Wolf and then not give me Teen Wolf.
So?
All due respect. I wanted more wolf. Because you know what? Why not have, instead of the arrows, why not have a wolf come take out Aram?
You know, here's my thing.
Wouldn't that have made more sense?
That would have made a lot of sense. And here's the other thing about Aram's death. For me, I love Robert Jordan. For me, in the order of like narrative satisfaction, for ways Aram can die in this situation, narrative satisfaction or like deeply impactful to me personally, myself as my own reader, me, not necessarily you, listener. Wolf kills Aram pretty high.
Well, I feel like Wolf kills Aram after Perrin's trying to talk Aram down.
Yeah. Tam or a Two Rivers man kills Aram.
Ooh, that's up there.
Perrin has to kill Aram.
Perrin has to kill Aram is ahead of Two Rivers men for me. That's
Aram,
second.
Aram literally falls on his sword by accident.
Ooh.
Like, Aram fucks up, he gets overzealous, he loses control, and he somehow kills himself. Accidentally.
Ooh. Aram gets confused and kills himself.
Like, in some kind of confusing accident, because, you know.
No. Deliberately.
That could work, too. Aram gets shot by some Shaido. For me, sorry.
He got shot by Shaido?
He got shot by Shaido. Who then went for Perrin, and Perrin had to continue fighting and to take out the Shaido. And
I thought he at least got shot by Perrin's Aiel.
He got shot by Shaido.
Oh.
Yeah.
May Robert Jordan rest in peace.
Love him. Frankly, I don't know. This is not my favorite moment, but that's okay.
It's okay. You know what? Here's the thing I do like. I do like Massima turning Aram on Perrin.
I think that's great.
Because Perrin had it fucking
Makes
coming.
a ton of sense.
Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I think that the button of that to support Robert Jordan's thesis could have been a little stronger.
Yeah.
I think utilizing the wolves or because I think the wolves killing Aram is about as good as Perrin killing Aram.
Yeah, it's up there.
And I think we needed to do one of those things. Or have Aram get so confused by it all that he's like, I don't even want to live anymore.
But pretty fucking depressing.
Yeah. I think that if he's like, I don't know who to believe, I don't know who to follow, I don't have anything anymore.
Pretty horrific.
I'm done. I'm out.
Pretty horrific.
Would have supported the thesis.
I do, for me, Aram's death never really hits very hard for basically this reason, is he just kind of like, he hits his character climax, which is I'm a empty shell driven by hatred and violence, and then he just dies.
Well, I just think we needed to live in the reality of that for a second longer.
Yeah. Well, it's less than a page.
Yeah. I do like that Perrin immediately is like, well, I got to get to Faile because that is appropriate and right.
It's funny.
But I think we did need to have a minute of Aram, like Perrin either trying to talk more sense into Aram or
Allie bumped her knee about 20 seconds ago, and I think the pain just hit, didn't it? Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, that hurt.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It took a second for my brain to process it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hurt. Okay. Because it got right in the pressure point.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I like the fact though that Perrin had it coming. You could see it coming. And still I was surprised. There's still a part of me that was surprised that Aram tried to kill Perrin.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it is surprising. Perrin is also, we're in his head.
Because you don't want it to happen.
We're in his head, and Perrin is deliberately ignoring it.
Yeah.
I mean, he thinks about, like, we should keep those other scouts away from Massima. He thinks about everybody else.
I think
he just actively doesn't think about Aram.
Well,
he actively ignores Aram.
Yeah, I think sometimes I want to send I have to send an email or place a phone call.
Yeah, and you don't think about it.
And I just don't want to
get a new passport for 3 months for some reason.
Oh my God, you really need to do that.
I really need to get a new passport. Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes forever.
I know.
We have trips.
I know.
Anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
this is how spouses, they're like, oh my God, wait, you actually
I actually have to do that.
Did I tell you that the other day we were talking on Hot Nuance podcast about like ADHD forgetfulness and stuff and how frustrating it can be? And Bree brought up forgetting like friends and loved ones' birthdays. And I realized on like live recording that I forgot my father's birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. We had just seen him and wished him happy birthday.
The night before his birthday, but I didn't call him on his birthday.
That. Yeah.
That was shitty of me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we make mistakes.
He took it in stride.
That's good. Back to the book?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Stevie.
We're nearly done. This is a long one. We haven't had one this long in a while.
It's a chonky episode.
It's a big one.
Granted, this is a chapter.
It's three chonky
chapters. So Gaul
chapters.
shows up.
Well, first, Perrin is like, oh, hey, go let, all the people in the fortress know they can leave. And she's like, what the fuck do you mean the people in the fortress? He's like, well, Alice, we came up with a whole plan. Alice is supposed to tell you the plan. He's like, who the fuck is Alice?
They always use Alice.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland.
I mean, I figured it was
Notably,
a reference.
this Alice is spelled differently from Moiraine's Alice. Moiraine's Alice was A-L-Y-S.
How do they know?
Elise?
How do Faile and Perrin know that?
I don't know. We do. The reader does. Ban is in the fortress.
See,
they should have known Ben was in the fortress from the fucking sniffling of his goddamn colossal continent-sized honker of a schnoz.
And the reason why we talk about Ban's nose so much is because Perrin always talks about Ban's nose.
It's hilarious to me that Perrin has twigged on it so
Lest anyone
much.
think that we regularly make fun of nose
I don't
sizes.
give a fuck about nose sizes. Who cares?
No one cares.
I think it's just funny that Perrin spends the entirety of book 4 being like, ban his fucking nose.
I love an aquiline nose.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because some people get really insecure about their nose size.
This is, well, it's like we talk about Samael being short because he's tall as fuck and he's insecure about not
so we
being
gotta
tall.
roast and toast him.
Yeah.
Just because he's a little shorter than Lutheran, which, I'm sorry, get over it.
I think he's about the same height as me. He might be taller than me.
Yeah, so it's like, why the fuck are you crying?
I don't remember. It's either that or he's slightly short. Whatever. He's tall. Whatever. It's a silly thing to be insecure about.
He's microscopic.
He has gone subatomic.
It's true.
Yes. So the S in Samael stands for subatomic.
Subatamayo.
Mm-hmm. Alvin and Farrell bust in. They're like, "We're here to help."
Oh, thank God! You two, who seem to be like the random red shirts, who just fix all the problems.
Yeah. Talonvori's here, and now we're gonna move on. Gaul runs in. He goes, "Where is Chiad?" On learning that she had never been with them, he lifted the veil across his face. "The maidens tricked me, but I will find her before them." You almost got me in the eye with that one.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
That was close. She gestured in I don't know what the right term is.
Akimbo.
Sure, she gestured akimbo. What do you think the maidens told Gaul?
She'll be over here so that they could get to her first.
I think the maidens told Gaul, "Oh, we found Bane and Chiad. We got him." Because you remember the whole thing where Gaul was like, "I have to fucking find them first. Because if I find them first, I can make them my guy shine, and then maybe after a year and a day, Chiad will want to marry me." Which Gaul? You are. There's a list of unproblematic men in the Wheel of Time,
and it's you and loyal.
It's you and loyal,
and both of you
are on thin fucking ice right now.
Thinnest ice possible.
Luckily, we just had to deal with fucking Rolan.
Uno's kind of on there.
Yeah, Uno's on there.
Uno's
fine.
It's those three.
Yeah. Yeah. We should clarify. I guess unproblematic men who are in any way involved in or connected to romance subplots.
No, we said what we said.
All right. So
Bree.
Actually, sorry, it wasn't unproblematic. It was unproblematic characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Period.
It's loyal, Gaul, Uno. There's gotta be a woman. Amis.
Yeah, Amis is pretty good.
Varen's on thin ice.
Yeah.
The thinnest ice. Because I don't know what's going on. Either she's Black Aja or she's not. Either she and Van Dien are both Black Aja or she and Van Dien are both innocent. And I can't tell.
So Gaul and what's his fuck? Elias run off to go find Bane and Chiad, and then Cyanid heals Perrin, and there's this cute thing. She's like, I'm gonna heal you, and Perrin's like, heal Faile first. She's like, oh, shut the fuck up, and she heals him.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
then she goes to Faile's like, I'm gonna heal you, and she goes like, heal
Megden first.
Heal, I forget which one it is first, and she's like, God damn, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
There's this whole thing about Galena, where she's like, did you Cyanid? By the way, shout out to my girl, Cyanid Trigon, short lesbian legend. Love her.
We do love a short
absolute
lesbian
MVP
legend.
Cyanid Trigon here.
A little lesbian legend?
Perfect.
A triple L.
I remember we named an episode A Short Lesbian, and all of the Cyanid stands saw the episode title and went, oh my god! There's only one in the Wheel of Time, I guess.
There's only one short lesbian?
I guess. So, what was that? Did you mention Galena Kazban? I don't know her last name. A round-faced Aes Sedai with a plump mouth and black hair and big eyes.
Perrin's like, that sounds like Alice.
Pretty in a way, but an unpleasant woman. Do you know her? I think she must be Black Aja. That sounds like Galena. A red, and decidedly unpleasant. But why would you make such an accusation? It is not a charge to bring against a sister lightly. Even one as disagreeable as Galena. She runs her through it, and Perrin is like, I'm gonna fucking kill her! And Cyanid is like,
that's correct.
Sit down.
And see, this is why...
Park your ass.
This is why Galena's plan was so stupid.
That is not your right, Cyanid said sharply.
The minute they compare notes, it's over.
Galena must be tried before 3 sisters sitting as a court, and for this charge they must be sitters. The entire Hall of the Tower might sit for it. If she's found guilty, she will be stilled and executed. But justice in this lies with Aes Sedai. And he's like, what the fuck do you mean if? She's like, bro, it's called the court system. We have to actually have a trial. We can't just declare her guilty. And Faile goes, she's right, Perrin, Faile said gently. When Jack Copland and Len Conger were accused of stealing a cow, you knew they were thieves, but you made Master Thane prove they'd stolen it before you let the village council have them strapped. It's just as important with Galena. I like how we're gentle parenting Perrin on the battlefield.
Gentle parenting.
Yeah, so anyway.
And that's the thing. She's having a gentle parent Perrin on the battlefield after she's been kidnapped, witnessed a guy get his head smashed in, had a building fall on her. Faile's presence of mind is unshakable. Like the fact that
I love her. I'm sorry. I fucking love her. I will go to the fucking mat for Faile to Bashir and Ibar, whatever the fuck it is. I love her.
15 years old.
Has she done some stupid shit? Of course she has.
And she's 15 years old.
Well, she was. Now she's, your magnet pillow came off. Yeah.
She is 15 years old.
She's de facto 16. I
Oh.
know he aged her up. No, I'm saying I know he changed it afterwards, but like, yeah, and I know she does. I don't give a shit. She's fucking awesome. I'm gonna ignore or accept the fact that she needs to grow through the bullshit she did in book 4 and 6 and 7.
Yeah, she did fuck up
I
a lot.
know. I fucking know. She's a badass apart from that.
She is a badass.
For some reason, I've decided that Barrelane and Faile are my 2 favorite characters. Highly controversial picks. Love them both.
Highly controversial picks. Oh my God. Gus is like, I support women's wrongs.
I do. I love those
so
two.
much.
Both of them have done a lot of fucked up shit.
They have.
One more than the other.
We've ranted about both of them.
I love them. They're great.
We've ranted
They
about
both
every
need
character
some
in these
development
books,
and growth
except for
and
Loyal
therapy.
and Gaul.
They both got close.
And we're getting close with both of them. So...
All right, so I had to get that out. I'm sorry. People are like, oh, Faile's such a bitch. No, she's not.
Well, she is sometimes.
She is sometimes.
But here's the thing. First of all, I don't believe in using bitch as a pejorative.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't usually say it that way.
You were quoting.
Yes.
But also, I feel like
I got very passionate about Faile for a second.
You're allowed. But like the thing is that I feel like Faile and Egwene and Elaine and all the girls get like way more vitriol than the men do.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah. And I'm like, listen, Faile abuses Perrin.
Yes, she
That's
does.
a fucking problem.
Yes, and then she stonewalls him for 2 books.
Yeah, we're not going to say that that's not a fucking problem. But I believe in this instance that it is Robert Jordan who is wrong. Because both Barrelane and Faile have the makings of such awesome women. And then Robert Jordan goes, but what if they sucked,
All right,
though?
here's the thing. if I can love Lae'zel, if I can love Shadowheart, if I can love Asterion, I can love these two.
Gustless loves problematic women.
I like people who are trying to be better. And they have some growing to do.
Wow.
They have character development ahead of them.
Is that why you fell in love with me?
I fell in love with you because you're amazing.
Because I was traumatized by... This is what you love. You love traumatized bisexuals with lots of growing to do. And
I fell in love with you because you're awesome and I love you. It has nothing to do with it. These are not a fiction.
Okay, but this is true about Lae'zel, Shadowheart, Faile, and Bearland.
Asterion.
And Asterion. Traumatized bisexuals with a lot of work to do.
Yeah. It is interesting that you went hard for Gale, who is also traumatized.
Yeah, there's no one in Baldur's Gate.
There's no one in Baldur's Gate who's not traumatized.
But
all right,
he is the character who is the most like you.
He is.
He's the character who is the most like the golden retriever gamer boy. And in that, stereotype of bisexual women, it is our kryptonite.
Who haven't played Baldur's Gate, I'm sorry we're making all these comparisons. It's a really good game.
It's a really good game. Pick it up. Let it ruin your life like it has ruined ours.
Anyway, Faile deep dive when, I guess.
Well, okay, once she got kidnapped, it was like, we can't do a deep dive now because now there's like more shit.
We had to wait until I'm looking at this can of LaCroix, by the way. It says orange, and I looked at it for a good 15 seconds going, what is zero range? All right.
We've been at this for a long time. This is what Faile
does to me, apparently.
Yeah, you turned red and sweaty.
I care a lot. I like that character. I think she gets unfairly lambasted by people. She is put through the ringer as like the worst character ever. I'm like, have you read any character in the Wheel of Time?
Have you read Rolan?
All of them. Meh. I love a lot of them, and a lot of the ones I like have done some terrible things. We've been over this so many times. I feel like I'm repeating myself.
Yeah, but if we don't say this, then someone will be in our inbox.
This will be their first episode.
Lovingly.
Okay.
But they will be their first episode and they won't have heard it.
So we need to take a quick ad break so I can take a deep breath. All right, we're back.
In between, Gus asked me if that was okay.
I did.
And I said, I've never gotten animated on this podcast before. I think you should be embarrassed.
So he sends Ban to keep an eye on Faile while we figure out if the battle's over. He sends Ban because...
And his nose.
If Ban looks up, Perrin will be able to see where he is by the 75 feet of nose. Cyrano de Bergerac level of rhinoplasty. That this man has had.
The alternate use for Ban's nose is a sundial.
Yes. Again, the joke is not that Ban has a big nose. The joke is that Perrin thinks Ban has a big nose and cares.
And cares so much that he mentions it every time he thinks about Ban.
Notably, you know why I think he's not thinking about it anymore?
Because he's not a threat to Faile anymore?
That's part of it.
Why?
Because Faile has a big nose. So Perrin no longer considers that a notable feature or something that sticks out.
So does that mean Matt will stop body shaming like tiny flat-chested women?
Maybe. That's why I think he's not thinking about it. Part of it is
body shaming in his head.
Yeah. Part of it is that he's not a threat to Faile anymore, but I do think part of it is not a threat,
Matt body shames everyone.
Yes. I know.
Like everyone.
Yeah.
Unless they are like golden ratio.
Does that sound possible? That might be part of it?
Which, I don't like the term golden ratio, but whatever.
I know.
What?
The Faile thing?
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe. That clocks. It's kind of like how Perrin thought Faile was like just okay looking until all of a sudden he decided she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen.
So Tylee shows up and she's got a naked woman on her horse and...
God, I hate this part. I hate it. No. Bloom, bloom, bloom.
Yeah, okay.
Bloom, bloom, bloom.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about this.
Bloom, bloom, bloom.
At all, or do you want to skip all? Oh, okay, watch the cable.
Bloom, bloom, bloom.
You want to skip all of it or just part of it?
Which part would I want to talk about?
I don't know. So Tylee's here, and she's got Savannah.
Bloom,
she
bloom,
smacks
bloom.
her ass and all this
bloom,
other stuff.
Bloom, bloom, please, God. Bloom, bloom, bloom. I can't do it. I can't.
Well, we do have to talk about a little bit of this.
Why?
Massima escaped with
fuck.
100 of his mans.
Well, we had one job, which was kill Massima.
He got out.
It was get Faile, kill Massima. Those were our 2 jobs.
So he got out. Most of his men got killed, but his elites, about half of them survived.
Ugh. God. I can't have anything. Now, you know what? That's not fair of me to say. I got Rolan's death via face smashing. And that was honestly, you know what? Robert did that for the girlies.
A remarkable weapon, those bows of yours. I wish we had the like. Kirkland told me where to find you, my lord.
Did you know?
Yes, go ahead.
Really,
yeah, please. No, it's okay.
You're so in the middle of something.
I was in character. Go for it.
Okay, I've just figured out a great way to spend our patron money.
Yes.
Okay, did you know that you can buy a cockroach that they like feed to the animals at the zoo?
Beaker, we said feed. That didn't mean you had to come in. You ate twice today. You had a lot of delicious food. Go ahead. Sorry, you can buy a cockroach.
He's gaslighting us.
He is, yeah.
But you can buy a cockroach at the zoo and name it after like an X or whatever. I think we should name one after
Rolan.
I think that'd be a really good way to spend the patron money.
That would be a good way to spend the patron money. So...
You know, not on our bills.
No.
Or anything, but on cockroach.
Kirkland told me where to find you, my lord. They've begun surrendering. Massima's men held to the point of suicide. Most of them are dead or dying, I think. And the Damane turned that ridge into a death trap only a madman would walk into. Best of all, the Soldam have already fitted Idam to over 200 women. That cold tea of yours was enough that most of them could not stand without help. I'll have to send for Torokin to fly them all out.
It's only $10.
You didn't hear a single thing I just said.
I'm so sorry. Because the San Antonio Zoo, it's only $10, and they'll name a cockroach after your not-so-special someone and feed it to an animal.
That's pretty great. We should do that.
Those not into it being bugs can choose a vegetable for $5, or much sadder, a rodent for $25. I'm going with a cockroach.
Or a plant. Carrot.
Oh, wait, hold on. Even more interesting. They can also opt to send their ex-boo a digital Valentine's Day card informing them that a cockroach, rodent, or vegetable was named after them and fed to an animal.
That's kind of fucked up.
I think it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Shall we, do you want to hear the really depressing passage I just got to read out loud?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Best of all, the Suldam have already fitted Idam to over 200 women. That cold tea of yours was enough that most of them could not stand without help. I'll have to send for Torokin to fly them all out.
We're heroes. God, Robert, you just totally killed my vibe. God, you murdered my vibe. You just stuffed my vibe in a carpet in the basement that just got rubbled. Oh.
So Faile is here, and, you know, we're leashing women, and, you know, there you go.
God,
and
just L's left and right lately. L's left and right.
Perrin introduces Alejandra to everybody, and to his credit, he doesn't offer her Manetherin again. In fact, when he introduces her to Alejandra...
Yeah, because Faile would beat the shit out of him.
He goes, Gaelden is under my protection. And she's
not
like...
actually beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is Faile, so who knows? What?
He's like, Gaelden is under my protection.
Yay! This is actually good.
And she's like, kind of none of my business if we try to conquer Gaelden or not. I don't tell the army what to do.
And he's like, yeah, but it's under my protection and you're not going to do it.
Just so you know, Banner General, and tell those above you, they can't have Gaelden. I know I'm saying it differently every time. Alejandra smiled at him so widely, so gratefully, he almost wanted to laugh. Light, Faile was smiling too. A proud smile. And he's like, we should probably leave, by the way.
Yeah, because Faile needs a blankie and a hot toddy.
So, how do we leave this alliance with Tylee?
Unfortunately, they're on great terms, and I don't like it.
We have time to make our deployments. My lord, I hope I never have to face you in the field, she said.
I hope I never see the Shan-Chan again.
Pulling the steel-backed gauntlet from her right hand. I would be honored if you'd call me Tylee.
Ugh.
She bent over Savannah to offer her hand.
No.
For a moment, Perrin could only stare.
No.
It was a strange world.
No.
He had gone to her thinking he was making a deal with the Dark One. And the Light knew some of what the Seanchan did was beyond repugnant. But the woman was stalwart and true to her word. I'm Perrin, Tylee, he said, clasping her hand. A very strange world. You are in despair.
I hate this.
Because he's friends with Tylee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's making peace with the Seanchan.
He is making peace.
No. Stop it.
With the Seanchan.
Stop.
She got me.
Stop it.
She's
no.
Yeah.
Don't.
This is an oral medium. They can't she can't see what
Stop
you're
it.
doing.
Don't.
She's just sort of I don't know how to describe this.
Please.
I really don't know how to describe this. She just keeps on moving my head.
Please stop. Enough.
You want to talk about Galena getting re-enslaved by Therava instead?
No, I don't.
Because that's what's next.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it.
Galena.
No. Robert Jordan
stripping off her shift.
Is old yellering my vibe. My vibe was so good.
Oh my god, she's naked too. I forgot.
Everyone's naked. I'm just gonna scream. Please, God. No, can we just go watch House of the Dragon? Please, can we go?
I gotta edit this tonight.
I know, but can we please just go? Oh my God,
okay.
no.
How much time do we want to spend on this?
None.
Okay.
No time.
Galena gets re-enslaved by Therava and ends a broken woman who will be her plaything for all of her life.
You're right, Robert. This is better than killing the women. This is better. Thank you so much. My vibe is murdered. I was so happy because Rolan was dead.
And we got Faile back.
And then we made peace with the Seanchan further. And now Galena... Listen, Galena's an idiot and deserves something bad happening to her. But this is just rapey and odd.
Yes.
Like, I just feel weird about rapiness being like justice.
We all know the quote. The bottom quite thoroughly
I
quote.
refuse to ever.
I hate it so much.
Is a thing. But you know what I mean? Like, because it feels like Mageddon had this same thing where it was like, yeah, get her with the raping. And I'm like, no, I don't ever want to decide that kind of violence is ever justified.
I will tell you a common criticism as we continue into the end of the series, and you can, do with this information what you will, is that he doesn't kill bad guy women.
Mm-hmm.
He puts them in horrible situations instead.
And so this to me showcases why men don't get the bear thing. It's 'cause the bear would make it quick. I don't know why that's confusing to people. Like, Samael got to float away in some fog. It got to be fast and done.
Robin got bail fired. Balal got bail fired.
But for some reason we think that killing women is too far, but subjugating them and making them deal with endless torture and assaults.
Leandrin's dealing with whatever she's dealing with. Now this.
It boggles. It boggles.
Something to keep an eye on.
I'm gonna go do something light, fluffy.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on.
Listen, let's end on this note. Rolan is dead.
Yay!
Ding dong, the dick is dead. Da 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 da. Ding dong, the wicked dick is dead. He's gone where the goblins go below. Below, below, yo ho. Do 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 do. Ding dong, da 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 da. I don't really know the words.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on. It's linked down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. And you can always leave us a rating and review, which helps a great deal. Other than that, anything else, Sally?
Happy Mother's Day. Rolan is dead.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.